All right. I don't want that going out over the air. Jesus.
Understanding, so much of life carries over into football, right? And life is about, these moments that we've been able to build and to playing in that
Test.
game at home. Like, these are the moments let's so enjoy them. It's snowing outside, it's 5 degrees outside. Nobody, it's cold all the time, but these are just enjoying every single moment for what it is. And I'm in such a great place because I understand me now. I understand who I am as a person. A lot of my career, I had always labeled myself as just a football player, and that really kind of
Check.
stuck with me and brought me down a lot.
Keep talking. Microphone check.
And I would feel like crap. Why do I feel like crap? Just because I don't play well. Like, that's me valuing my play over myself. It's something that I struggled with for a long time, and I had to kind of go with. I'm more than a football player. I'm a great father. I'm a great husband. I'm a great brother, a great dad. Those are all aspects that all grow. It's always, that's all we're here to do is evolve, is to grow, to learn, and to love. And that's what I'm trying to do, is just be in this moment, to be present.
It's the wrap-up. Saturday and Sunday. Log on to WestwoodOneSports.com for more details, or to listen to the live stream for free. From the wild card round all the way to Super Bowl 58 in Las Vegas, the NFL playoffs are on Westwood One. The producer of NFL Insider is Brian Finkelstein, production supervisor Aaron Cummins, coordinating producer Mike Eby. The executive producer is Howard Benaroff. Now for Ian Rappaport and Jason McCourty, I'm Scott Graham. Thanks for joining us. You've been listening to NFL Insider on Westwood One. Thanks for joining us. You've been listening to NFL Insider on Westwood One.
Driving on James. Ball almost knocked loose. Gets it back to Bradley. Drives inside. Throw it up. It's good, and he's fouled. Oh, what a circus move by Jaden Bradley. Over his head shot is good. Foul by Morgan. 3-point opportunity.
All right, we're good. Go ahead.
And welcome out here to McKale Center. It is the Meridian Wealth Management Countdown to Tip-Off show. I'm David Kelly, and I'm joined out here by Kelvin Efon, getting you set for an exciting day of college basketball. It's going to be the UCLA Bruins and the Arizona Wildcats coming up here at McKale Center. Tip-off scheduled for 2 o'clock. We are on site here at the Hall of Champions on the backside of McKale Center, the Eddie Lynch Athletics Pavilion on the patio. Stop on by if you're coming to the game today. We've got all kinds of nice prizes and things that you can kind of win out here with our crew today. And JW Madden is back in studio. It's another beautiful Arizona January day for this, what we anticipate obviously is going to be the last visit for the UCLA Bruins in the Pac-12 era, but hopefully not the last visit ever for the UCLA Bruins here, as Tommy Lloyd, you'll hear a little bit later, has made it firm once again that he would like to continue this relationship and this rivalry with the now soon-to-be former conference members on the West Coast. Let's give you an indication of what we've got coming up for you today on our program over the course of the next 3 hours.
Let's take a look at the Right Way Rundown and see what's coming up on our pregame show. Brought to you by Right Way Heating, Cooling, and Plumbing. Do things the right way.
All right, we're going to take a look back at the win over the Southern California Trojans from Wednesday night. Wildcats played the earlier game this week, as did the Bruins up in Tempe, a win over the ASU Sun Devils. We'll preview today's game against UCLA. Our spotlight on a Cat is going to focus on the senior swing guard, Pella Larson, as well as our view from courtside today. Will be joined on site by Arizona Wildcats Radio Network analyst Ryan Hansen. Will join us here at the Hall of Champions coming up a little bit later. Our best bets, the Wildcats heavy favorites over their rivals today. 17 points is the line in favor of the Wildcats. Joined by Kelvin Efon. And Kelvin, I guess I don't want to call it a funeral, because I mean you don't want to approach it in that perspective, but the end of an era today between Arizona and UCLA as conference mates, at least here in Tucson.
Yeah, man, it brings me to mind of the I think with playing UCLA here with Tyus Edney and Ed O'Bannon, and that team ended up winning the national championship. So played against a national championship team, great coach. Yeah, man, it's unbelievable that these guys aren't going to be playing each other twice a year. I think you have to figure out a way to get that, at least that home and home not home and home, but that home in a way every other year for this game, to make sure that you keep this game around, because this is the biggest West Coast game that you have every year. So yeah, man, it's tough to see this era go, man, because the Pac-12, Pac-10 for me was just so important. So it's just weird to see it just dissolving like this.
And J-Dub is a guy that's obviously been around, and like you said, you've pretty much been to every single one of these games. It's not quite going to be the same moving forward when these two teams get together eventually at some point down the line.
Yeah, I mean, the measuring stick in the conference has always been the Bruins, and Coach Olson came in and won that first title out there in Westwood, and it hasn't looked back ever since. And so I just think when you look at these two teams every time they match up, the reason it's such a great rivalry is both teams have been very good for an extended period of time. They've been good most of the past 40 years, and I don't think that's going to change anytime soon, conference or not. And so, as you guys both said, there has to be a way to find out how the Wildcats and Bruins can continue to play each other moving forward, not being in the same conference. I don't look at it as a finality kind of thing, like a funeral. I just think it's going to be a change into a new environment. They'll continue to play each other, but certainly, personally, I'm looking forward to this final game in McKale in the Pac-12 era. Love to see the Bruins come in and love to see them go away with frowns on their faces.
National television here today at McKale Center for this matchup between the Wildcats and the Bruins. You'll hear from Tommy Lloyd a little bit later on his feelings about this rivalry with UCLA and how he wants to see it progress moving forward, though. Arizona, though, coming off a win over the USC Trojans on Wednesday night, and again, it was a game in which the Wildcats led from start to finish, 82-67. It was a festive night, to say the least, here at McKale Center. A lot of star power in the building. Miles Simon was here, Arizona Wildcat national champion. Kadeem Carey, Arizona football all-time leading rusher, was in the house. Kevin Durant from the Phoenix Suns. A lot of folks came out to see Bronny James in his first McKale Center appearance for the USC Trojans. Tommy Lloyd afterward, though, when asked about the environment, said, hey, that's what we expect here at McKale Center and Arizona basketball.
Arizona basketball is, it's a show. And, I mean, I wish we would have played better for everybody tonight, but at the end of the day, we got the result we needed. And, it didn't feel great, but we did. And, and the other thing we got to remember, SC is shorthanded. I mean, like, could we beat SC at 100%? I don't know. Those are things. And then we got a UCLA team coming in here. I know how hard that game's going to be. I'm not tricking myself. I mean, I know that's going to be a knockdown drag out. So we got to continue to get better. And sometimes you go through these lulls in the season, and you come out of them better, but it's not easy. You got to keep fighting.
Kelvin, I asked J-Dub this question on the show the other day. I'll ask you, what did you make of his comment there that he's maybe not sure his team could have beaten a full-strength USC club that was missing Boogie Ellis, Isaiah Collier, and Joshua Morgan playing at less than 100%?
I think that's being real because the teams that they lost against had great guard play. Guys went off knocking down threes, scoring. You think about Purdue's, you think about the Florida Atlantic type of players. Even the kid Rice. So he just want to make sure his guys are not listening too hard into thinking that everything is easy and thinking that he's happy about what's going on. He want to make sure there's a sense of urgency about understanding that we have to play harder. We have to be understanding that we have to play in the moment right now. So I just think he's putting it out there for his players more than anything. He said it before, we can lose all these games. I remember when he said they're going down the stretch, and they did lose a couple there. So I just think he wants these guys to understand that you can't underestimate the Pac-12, and those were some NBA top 5. One of those Colliers like a top 2, 3 type of pick. So coaches being real, and Bronny James ended up having a good game. So what would Collier and Boogie Ellis would have done? So I think he's just being real.
It was another one of those games that saw the Wildcats miss a lot of shots around the basket. They finished it at just 39% in the ball game in terms of their layups and dunks, and it continues now. I guess when it happens multiple times, like I said the other night, I don't think I want to call it a concern, but it is an issue with this team right now. And Tommy was adamant that these are shots that you've got to be able to finish.
I think if you have a layup, you got a responsibility to deliver for your team. Like I don't care what they're in. I mean, it's a layup, and layups aren't easy.
Yeah.
They're not. But good teams make layups.
Some crazy stuff they're putting up, and I'm wondering maybe because of whatever happens in the zone in some cases, are they maybe more compelled to, throw something like that?
I'm talking like in transition. I'm talking overall. I'm not just talking about a zone. I mean, when you shoot a layup, you have a responsibility to make it or get fouled. Those are your two options. And you don't get any extra points for dipsy-do or jumping in the air and trying to do something crazy. And you know what? These referees, either they don't see the foul or they don't fall for it, which probably both things happen, So we just got to do a better job.
I always thought dipsy-doos are worth 3.5 games.
Dipsy-doo, Dungaroo, Jam City, baby.
Yeah, man. I say, guys, I love it, man. I mean, because ain't that what I said when we had our post-game show? I said it's a layup. Right. It's a layup. I mean, you're a Division I, high Division I. It's not low Division I, not mid-major. You're high Division I. Of course you can make layups. Of course you can dunk. I mean, I guarantee you the Martinez could dunk. You know what I mean? And most people probably can't. Think he can, but I'll put money on he can, because that's the type of athletes we're talking about right here. So and it don't have nothing to do with athleticism to make a layup. It's putting the ball in the basket. You see the guy trying to block your shot. You may have to pump fake once to throw off his timing, go up and shoot the ball off the basket, or go up into the guy and get an and one. I mean, you have to finish, man. And I'm with Coach, man. I mean, hey, you just start, you'll see guys' minutes start to, 5 or 6 minutes start to get taken away, and I'm starting to trying to find somebody else and trying to find different lineups that'll get it done.
Yeah, Keyshawn Johnson kind of agreeing with his coach. This team has got to be better finishing shots.
I feel like sometimes just the natural nature of a basketball player, when you get in the paint, sometimes you expect a foul. You want to draw the foul, and that takes away from you actually going to finish, not hoping for a call and things like that. So we just got to get better on that end, like, just go up to finish instead of expecting a foul. And we've been working on it, but we just got to keep and stick to it.
Indeed. I mean, it's something that, again, you want to get back to shooting 70, 75%. In that respect, it's been 39 and 30% from around the basket in the last 2 games, and you can beat an unmanned team like USC doing that, but you're going to lose some games if that's the trend that continues for this team. Now, they did have, again, in this ball game against USC, they had, 21 offensive rebounds in that ball game, but largely that was because, as Tommy Lloyd says, they missed so many shots.
I mean, I want it to balance out. I don't want to miss so many shots. So then there's not so many offensive rebounds available. I mean, that would be my preference. I would rather have 12 or 13 offensive rebounds and 6 or 7 more makes. I mean, that's the so. I mean, it's great we're offensive rebounding. It's better than not offensive rebounding, but we need to start making some shots.
Are those like Moses Malone style offensive rebounds, right?
Dude, padding them stats.
Moses. Are you accusing Moses Malone of intentionally missing shots so he could get more rebounds?
I think his layup package was limited because I just remember him gathering a whole bunch of his own misses. Yeah, for sure. Not to take away from his rebounding ability,
right?
But I always think of like getting your own miss off a layup is a Moses Malone rebound for sure.
And guys, I'm gonna say this, and I ain't saying this about U of A team. I'm saying this about any team. It could be high school, it could be 13 and under, little league. When you're beating everybody, you're getting all the attention. You're number one. You start to get a little soft. It's hard to stay hungry and physical and tough. I mean, especially with the internet, especially with the social media and everybody punching on your highlights when you're dunking on people and you're taking off from where Caleb Love takes off from, and you're doing the crazy dunks by these guys, man. So I just feel like that sometimes when you win like that, sometimes and then when you think you're facing inferior opponents, you get a little soft. You're not coming in with that edge though, like you're going against a Duke in the first beginning of the year when you don't know each other and you're trying to prove to each other that you can ball. You got to go into every one of these games understanding that you only have so many. It's not 82 game schedule, all right? You have about 40 games to get it together before it's a one and done type of situation. And so, yeah, man, it's just that little sense of urgency that you have to keep, that you have to keep with your squad.
And then, you better not bring that soft attitude, Kelvin, today.
Oh, no. Oh, man. Hey, I don't know if people been watching, but we're going to get into that. Because, man, I've been watching UCLA, and I'm telling you, get ready for a football game.
Keyshawn Johnson reiterating, we need to make more shots and have less rebounds.
It's basketball. It happens. Credit, we made more shots today than we did at Washington State, so I think we headed in the right direction. Offensive rebounds, we just got to go every time, whether we're making the shots or not. So that's all he means. All he means is he just wants to finish more around the rim, finish more around the arc and everything like that. So that's all he's trying to say. He still want our energy to be there every possession.
You talk about the team's energy. Did you see that it was there, it was not there?
I mean, it's evident. Everybody in the whole arena could see that our energy was there tonight. Of course, it's plays where you lack, but overall, our energy is heading in the right direction. We just got to keep it up and sustain it.
And we mentioned it was the first game at McKale Center for Bronny James, the freshman guard for the Southern California Trojans, and played very well. Finished 5 of 11, 11 points, had 6 assists. Did turn the ball over 5 times. That was the one negative on the night. But Tommy Lloyd, though, in his first time having a chance to see Bronny play in person, came away very impressed.
I thought he played pretty good today. I don't know what his stats ended up being, but I don't know him at all, but I'm proud of how he's handled everything, and the people that I know that know him say first-class kid, first-class family.
Yeah, I mean, again, it's a young man that went through a very scary preseason situation where he had a cardiac arrest and had to kind of work his way back into the season, coming in with the pressure of being the son of LeBron James, which is never an easy situation. You know
a little bit about that?
A little bit. No, well, not really, because I never had the ability to even be on the field, even a field that was the same as my father. But yeah, regardless of whether you can do it or not, there is a pressure that goes along with that if you even try to do it.
Right.
And Bronny was sweating out there in that game, man. I mean, he brought it. I don't know if it was because Uncle KD was in the house or whatever, but man, he really brought it. I was really impressed with his effort and energy for sure.
I thought it was because he had opportunity to play point point guard. He looked really excited to be in that position, and he took it really serious. He seemed to be really locked in. And watching from on TV, man, that's one thing I love about watching on TV. Had a chance to see them get real close to something. He was leading the huddles.
Yeah.
He was telling guys and talking to guys, and they were listening to him. I'm like, man, it's like he's been there all year and been a starter. I think that was only like his second game starting, right?
Yeah, second game starting.
So it was just amazing to see the level of maturity, and it is cool to see a kid that you know that have all that pressure and everything. But I think at the same time, you know, with all that pressure that he has on him now, he's seen it. He's seen what his dad had to go through, and a lot of time, if you're a kid that's really paying attention, you can use that to help, you know, level your mind.
All right, let's take our first break of the morning here. Again, we are out at the Jim Click Hall of Champions right outside the Eddie Lynch Athletics Pavilion here at McKale Center. Stop on by if you're heading out. A lot of stuff going on campus today. We've got women's tennis happening over at the Robson Center, so you can hop on over there and check out some tennis before you head to McKale Center for today's extremely huge basketball game between the Bruins and the Arizona Wildcats. It's the Meridian Wealth Management Countdown to Tip-Off Show, along with Kelvin Efon and J.W. Madden. I'm David Kelly. You're listening to Wildcats Radio 1290.
This hour of the Meridian Wealth Management pregame show is brought to you by Advanced Auto Care, Crest Insurance Group, Desert Diamond.
And application methods. 28 school districts, 3 hospitals, 2 colleges, 1 university, and thousands of homeowners trust University Termite and Pest Control. You can too. Call University Termite and Pest Control today at 886-4146 or go to bepestfree.com.
Hey, Eugene, what's with the giant pile of scratcher tickets?
Just my next greatest idea ever.
Playing the lottery?
That's right, Doug. With all my winnings, I can enroll in the UberTube car repair classes and finally fix your car right. No more disasters, Doug. Your luck is about to change.
Well, then keep on scratching, Eugene.
Good luck, Eugene. But if you need a sure thing in automotive repair or for your next set of tires, check out Jack.
Well, it's that time of year. You dress the kids up for the holiday parties, and they hate it. You dress everybody up for the annual holiday. Pretty sure he's not happy about that. This year, dress up your yard in time for the holidays. Call Dorado Rockin' Materials, and we promise there will be no complaints. Make your yard beautiful and worry-free with their personal service and convenient delivery times. Dorado Rockin' Materials. The right service, the right product, the right price.
Does it feel like the price of everything is going up, up, up? We can't control the price of gas or groceries, but at Royal Kia, we never add market adjustments, even while other dealers add fees because inventory is limited. At Royal Kia, you can rest assured you won't pay market adjustments, and we stand by our transparent online pricing. Royal Kia, the dealership that's different. OAC plus tax, title, license, dealer installed options, and $529 doc fee. Royal Kia, Speedway in Columbus or RoyalKia.com.
Tired of dry, itchy skin? Have mineral buildup at every faucet. Ram Plumbing's affordable, green, eco-friendly water softener and alkalized purification systems are built right here in our great state of Arizona and use a fraction of the wastewater as their competitors. Want soft water, non-chlorinated, or the best alkalized drinking water? You can trust Ram Plumbing to be your one-stop shop. Ask about their Water Taste Challenge. 40th year anniversary savings, up to $500 off water systems and $40 off any service. If your plumbing's in trouble, call Ram on the double.
You want a protector, you'll give anything that makes you nothing. Nothing harms her. Every minute together makes unforgettable memories. Except that time you parked her under that tree and...
Oh, come on, man. Really?
Sorry, we'll never speak of it again. But remember who came to her rescue? Recon Auto Detailing. Arizona's premier auto detailing company comes directly to you. We'll make your masterpiece shine like it should, and with a monthly maintenance package, we'll keep it that way. Recon Auto Detailing. Online at recondetail.com.
True Wildcat fans know that when you're looking for the best place to watch all the big games on big screens, drinking cold beer and having the best food, all paths lead to Desert Diamond. Bet on your Wildcats and all your favorite teams 24/7 on our easy-to-use kiosks. Come chill on our comfy couches and build your best bet at Arizona's best bet, the Desert Diamond Sportsbook and Bar.
An enterprise of the Thana Autumn Nation.
Problem gambling? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Desert Diamond Casino is licensed in Arizona.
The Meridian Wealth Management Countdown to Tip-Off Show continues on the home of Arizona men's basketball, Wildcats Radio 1290.
Keyshawn will lead the break for the Wildcats, racing down to Boswell. Left corner, wide open, Love for three. It is good for Caleb Love.
Caleb Love, another very good game for the Arizona Wildcats in the win over the USC Trojans, scoring 20 points for a second consecutive ball game and making 4 3-point shots in that contest as Arizona continued to their trend of not losing back-to-back games in the Tommy Lloyd era. They are now 15-0 in games after a loss. They'll try to start a winning streak here today at McKale Center when they take on the UCLA Bruins. It's a 2 o'clock start. It's the Meridian Wealth Management Countdown to Tip-Off Show. It's also brought to you by Dave & Buster's, the best place to eat, drink, and play while watching today's game between the Wildcats and the UCLA Bruins. Let's get our first feel of what this blue and gold team is all about.
Our first look at today's Arizona men's basketball game is brought to you by The Window Depot. Lowest prices and biggest inventory. Shop thewindowdepot.com.
UCLA comes in off of a win over the Arizona State Sun Devils, 68-66. It was a game in which they trailed by as many as 15 points in the second half, but able to come back and win in the end, thanks in large part to the Sun Devils kind of losing their minds in the second half with a ton of technical fouls. Kelvin,
well, they are the bad guys. So.
Man, them referees, man. Them referees was horrible. I ain't coaching. I ain't coaching in college. I ain't got to worry about it. They were terrible, man. I mean, come on now. I mean, it was some people in their little feelings, man. I mean, and I just think when you're coaching big-time ball, man, you as a referee, you shouldn't be in your feelings, man. I understand controlling the game, but, being personal, thinking kids are saying stuff to you when they're, kind of, talking to each other. They're playing a physical game, and, a game that close to get involved and change the outcome. I don't like that.
Yeah, consequences too, right? I think there was like a 14-point lead and a 7-point swing on one of those like situations with the Tech. So it did have an effect on the outcome of the game for sure.
And as J-Dub there said, ASU coach Bobby Hurley after the ball game, categorizing his kids as the bad guys. We're the bad guys, I think is exactly what he had to say. Well, the Bruins come in here today, and Tommy Lloyd well aware this is going to be a not an easy task, no matter how down the Bruins appear to be.
It's going to be a battle. I mean, that's a program that has a ton of pride. They have a coach, who knows how to get his team to play hard. They're going to be prepared, and we're going to have to come in, and it's going to be a knockdown, drag-out battle. I mean, I imagine it's going to be a hard-fought, traditional Arizona UCLA game, like 95% of them are.
And this will be, if my math is correct, the 112th meeting all time between these two programs. UCLA leads 63-48. The only Pac-12 opponent with a winning record against Arizona. And that's one of the reasons that this makes for such a great rivalry. However, since Tommy Lloyd came on into the picture, the Wildcats have had the better of this rivalry. They are 4-2 against the Bruins in the Tommy Lloyd era. So that is a pretty nice number to have. A Pac-12 tournament championship has happened with a win over the Bruins. And Tommy Lloyd reiterating what he said in the preseason this week, that this is, although the last time that the Bruins will come here as a member of the Pac-12 conference, this will not be the last time that these two teams play against each other.
I mean, it's not going to be the last time Arizona and UCLA play. It might be as members of the Pac-12, but it won't be the last time. And, I don't know exactly when or where the next time is going to be, but there will be, more games between Arizona and UCLA in the future.
I just wonder too, because like the way scheduling is now, you have 20 in the Big 12. You already have some neutrals. You've got Bahamas next year or whatever. That only wins a few games. I mean, do you see UCLA being one of those teams that you'd want to make room for?
I mean, for sure down the road we're gonna play UCLA. I mean, want me to say it any more clear than that? I don't have exactly how it's going to happen. I'll tell you that again. But we're going to play UCLA for sure, and I want to play UCLA.
And it sounds like Mick Cronin agrees with that he wants his squad and his program to play Arizona. I don't think this is something that's going to happen next year, however, and it'll be interesting to see how soon, guys, it takes place.
Yeah, I mean, you would hope within the next year. You don't want this to go away for 5 or 6 years. So you hope that right away that they can get this scheduled and get this thing taken care of, because these teams have to play each other. I mean, it's the Bruins and the Wildcats. I have one of my buddies. We talk Scott Sateri. He's out there in Omaha, Nebraska, snowed in. Be careful out there. All that ice and everything, man. But we talk all the time, man. And he was just telling me, man, that like these type of rivalries, these type of games, man, you have to have them.
Yeah, I mean, come on, both teams are going to new conferences, and there's going to be a lot of logistics they got to figure out. There's no more travel partners for the Cats. But think about the FAU game, right? How late did that get added to this year's schedule?
Exactly.
Yeah.
You can get it done.
You can find a way. For sure. Ladies and gentlemen, the great Mike Haregrove has come onto the scene here today, and he is doing patchwork out here on the Hall of Champions. This is the guy. This is the most important guy here on campus. I mean, he's a legend out here, fixing baskets when they go down and all kinds of things. If Mike Haregrove was not on the job, this place would probably be a disaster. So we love that guy. Mike, feel free to come over and chat if you'd like to. Once you get done with your work over there. All right, we also want to hear from you today. 520-848-1290. 520-848-1290 is the number to get in on the program. This is a little bit of a different-looking UCLA roster than we've seen maybe in the past. They actually look a little bit like the Arizona Wildcats. There are 8 foreign players on this roster this year for the UCLA Bruins, players from the likes of Nigeria, France, Turkey, Serbia, Spain, and Slovenia. Just a few of the nations across the world that are represented on this UCLA roster. In fact, Tommy Lloyd asked in the press conference after the game by the great Bruce Pascoe if he saw some commonality in the way that Mick Cronin has built his roster, in the vein that Tommy Lloyd has built his roster.
Bruce, it's not my job to speculate on the roster they put together. I mean, that's your job. My job is to coach against a really good coach who I know knows how to help his team win. So I'm going to focus on that. I'm not going to. I don't have any thoughts on their roster or how they put it together. We're gonna play the team that shows up, and I expect them to be good.
DK, I want to know Kelvin's thoughts on the roster, because we saw this with Howland after he had some success. Obviously, Westbrook. Love was out of Oregon, right? But there was an issue there with Howland maybe not being so enamored by a lot of the Southern California AAU and some of the high school guys. And I mean, I'm not here to comment on Cronin's recruiting style or whatever, but Kelvin, I mean, how much talent comes out of that city every year? And looking at the roster, not a lot of LA guys on there.
Yeah, not a lot of LA guys, and it's already hard to get people in the seats. And when you don't have LA kids, you're not gonna make it happen. You usually have them, Toby Bailey's, those type of guys, on those teams, man. And not to have any of those guys, it's just I'll never understand it. I mean, trust me, if I was at UCLA, man, I probably wouldn't recruit outside of LA. And I would make sure they knew that. I would make sure everybody in LA knew that, so it would make them want to stay at home, right?
Lock it down.
I mean, lock it down. Another thing that's interesting about all the names that we looked at, he has 12 players that are sophomores or freshmen on this team.
It's a young team.
12. And I think of Cronin, I think of a guy that doesn't really like the NIL and dealing with that type of stuff, because when I look at the roster a little bit, that's what I kind of see. I see guys that are there to play college basketball for 4 or 5 years and not necessarily to leave and go to the NBA. So it looked like he's going down that road where he's because wasn't he the team that didn't have any players transfer out or something, that he didn't get any transfers or something like that? Like, he don't really believe in it. If you look at this roster, there's no transfers.
Well, look at his style. I mean, he likes to mold players into his image. Like, he likes to have players be Cronin-style players, right? And if you're picking guys up, out of the transfer portal, I'm not damaged goods. I don't want to use that term, but there's guys who might have some flaws here or there, or maybe didn't latch on and didn't have success at their previous stop. And so I don't know. I think Cronin wants to get guys getting as freshmen so that by the time they're juniors, they know how to play that Cronin-style basketball. And guys, it's just all freshmen and sophomores right now. So that's what we're looking at with the record, I think.
But I'll ask this question: is that going to be okay? Is the administration going to accept the losing every what's that? Because that's going to be like every 2 years. And then you win 3 years, then you lose 2 years. Like, things are, I mean, as you see with the Wildcats, every year we have to bring in some, some seniors, guys to help hold together and solidify the roster. And I think this day and age, that's basketball.
Right.
That's basketball.
I don't know about administration, but boosters certainly will not stand for that.
Somebody ain't going to be happy with them taking them L's.
15 men on this UCLA roster, 7 true freshmen, 1 redshirt freshman, 3 true sophomores, 1 redshirt sophomore, and all the Bruins have 12 players, as Kelvin mentioned, in their first or second seasons on the court. In addition, the Bruins have 4 true freshmen who will not turn 19 until later this year. So that's an interesting way, as well as they added 8 new faces to this program last summer, including the 7 true freshmen. They do have 1 transfer, and that's the junior Lazar Stefanovic, who came over from the Utah Utes. So it is a totally rebuilt roster for the UCLA Bruins now that the likes of Tiger Campbell and Jaime Jaquez have departed. Jaquez, who's having a tremendous rookie year for the Miami Heat in the National Basketball Association. That is our first chance to get an idea of what the Bruins are all about.
That's been our first look at today's Arizona men's basketball game. Brought to you by The Window Depot. Lowest prices and biggest inventory. Shop thewindow.depot.com.
And don't forget, Window Depot.
Say hello to the bad guys. You may never see a bad guy like us again. But that's who we were tonight. We were the bad guys. So I'm sure no one else said anything except us all night.
Bobby Hurley, the head coach of the Arizona
Playing in the Pac-12 is hard.
Right, yeah, exactly. Winning in the Pac-12 is hard. That's for sure. Don't forget, Window Depot also sponsors Arizona's top rebounding performance every night. It's the Window Depot glass cleaner of the game. Might be the Wildcat with the most rebounds, might be the U of A star with the most impactful boards. We will tell you the Window Depot glass cleaner of the game coming up tonight on the Meridian Wealth Management post-game show. Again, we are out here on the backside of McKale Center at the Jim Click Hall of Champions, right outside the Eddie Lynch Athletics Pavilion. Stop on by if you're headed to the game today. We'd love to talk to you, get your thoughts on what you think about this game between the Bruins and the Wildcats. We also have a poll going if you want to head on over to our Twitter account at Wildcats1290 or our Facebook page at Wildcats Radio 1290. We want to hear what your favorite memory is of this series. We talked to J-Dub, and we'll get Kelvin's thoughts on that as well as we move along here today. It's the Meridian Wealth Management Countdown to Tip-Off Show. I'm David Kelly. You're listening to Wildcats Radio 1290.
This is the Meridian Wealth Management Countdown to Tip-Off Show on the home of Arizona men's basketball. Wildcats Radio 1290.
Experiencing the natural wonders comes easy at Rock & K. Nestled at the base of the Rincon Mountain foothills. Enjoy stunning mountain views up close every day. Explore natural open space, a network of connecting trails, and a community park within the Vail School District. Visit
Consider the Window Depot your MVP when it comes to your home improvement needs. Stores are open Monday through Saturday or order online at thewindowdepot.com. The Window Depot, more than a window store.
Coach Tommy Lloyd here. Right Way Heating, Cooling, and Plumbing is the ultimate team when it comes to your home's comfort.
Thinking about replacing your heating and air system? It's free furnace season at Right Way.
These are some of the slowest months of the year. We have equipment in stock and our crews are available.
And to spark business, we're including an 80% furnace absolutely free with the purchase of an air conditioning system.
And if that's not enough, we'll include a Wi-Fi thermostat, 10-year parts and labor warranty, plus we have zero interest financing available.
Call or text 520-200-2422 today or visit rightwayac.com.
Hi, this is Natalie Fernandez of Meridian Wealth Management, and I'd like to invite you to our complimentary retirement income workshop held every Friday at 10 a.m. in our offices at the Williams Center. We discuss the key risks in retirement, how retirement has changed, and how to best plan for success. A recent study showed 60% of retirees would go back and plan differently if they could. We want to help you avoid the would've, could've, should've. Call our office at 719-1433 to reserve your seat today.
Advisory services provided by Meridian Wealth Management, a registered investment advisor.
The new Blue Whale Car Wash, formerly Octopus Car Wash, is now open. They're locally owned and operated and offer many ways for you to save. Start now by downloading the Blue Whale Car Wash app. Then visit their website at bluewhalecarwashaz.com to find a location near you. Don't forget to follow them on Instagram and Facebook for even more savings. And for a limited time, their exterior-only wash is $5 at all 4 locations. Blue Whale Car Wash, proud radio sponsor of the University of Arizona Wildcats.
You know, there are times when you want a new truck, and there are times when you need a new truck. So if either of those times are right now, O'Reilly Chevrolet is the time for you. O'Reilly is kicking off Savings and Selection 100. To celebrate 100 years in business, we have over 100 trucks to choose from. See them all at O'Reilly.com. Call 747-8000 or test drive one today on Broadway next to Park Place Mall. Find new roads during Savings and Selection 100 at O'Reilly Chevrolet. More than a great price.
O'Reilly Chevrolet.
Hi, it's Floyd, the family man with the family plan. Outdated HVAC systems will drive up your electric bill, drain your wallet, and peace of mind. Save now at Goodfellas with no payments or interest till 2024. Got a 30% federal tax credit, up to $2,000 off qualifying heat pumps. Trust Goodfellas. We're locally owned with thousands of 5-star reviews. Good service, good prices, Goodfellas. Visit us at goodfellasac.com to schedule a no-cost estimate.
This is the Meridian Wealth Management Countdown to Tip-Off Show on the home of Arizona men's basketball. Wildcats Radio 1290.
Over to Yakimovsky. Drives the right baseline. Stolen away by Larson on a strip steal. Here's Pella driving coast to coast. Lay it up and good for Pella Larson.
Pella Larson is one of 5 players in the country right now that has taken at least 130 shots with at least 30 from the three-point line, or behind the three-point line, and is shooting above 50% on both this season. He is averaging a career best 12 points per ball game. Is Pelle Larsson. Welcome back to the Meridian Wealth Management Countdown to Tip-Off show. We are here at the Hall of Champions behind McKale Center on the north side, outside of the Eddie Lynch Athletics Pavilion. Stop on by. We're just a few steps away from the Lute Olson statue here, and it is a beautiful winter day in Tucson, Arizona for a little rivalry basketball between the Wildcats and the UCLA Bruins. I mentioned that stat, Kelvin, Pelle Larsson, and his shooting ability, and even I think we heard it on the broadcast the other night from Jay Billis. Pelle Larsson, with those types of numbers, needs to be shooting more threes, I think, for this team.
Yeah, Pelle does a great job of picking his spots, man. I mean, he's not a guy that's just looking to get up a bunch of shots, but he takes shots in the right spots, and he tries to fill in where he thinks the team needed at. I would love for him to take more threes, because especially when he's open and when they're seem like they're helping on Love or helping on Boswell, and they're putting their better two defenders on Love and Boswell. A lot of people don't think about that. I mean, it's hard to have three great defenders in the game, so usually Larson is getting the weaker guard defender, because you have to put your best guy on Love, your second guy on Boswell right now. So to me, Boswell could be a little bit, Larson could be a little bit more aggressive, being that he's playing the third best defender.
He's actually, fellas, taken less threes this year than he ever has. So as a freshman at Utah, 2.2 a game, sophomore 2.5, junior 2.5, and this year 2 threes per game. So he's actually taken a lot fewer, but he's shooting 53% from the three-point line.
Interesting stuff right there, and good numbers. Let's hear from Pelle Larsson, who had an injury at near the end of the game on Wednesday night against the USC Trojans, and he kind of spoke about what happened when he went down on his ankle.
Yeah, I just kind of tripped on him, so I think it just scared me more than anything. It wasn't too bad.
Maybe first 5-6 possessions, you had already drawn 3 fouls, and then a few later picked up a couple fouls. Where's that line between being aggressive and being to where you're making that mistake with the aggression?
I think it's, for me, like, the most of the fouls that get me in trouble, it's just not really being too aggressive. It's just dumb decisions, like not jumping when you're in the restricted area, or I had a few at Washington State I wish I could take back. So it's just limiting the stupid ones, because you always got to play aggressive, and that's the way I play. So if I just take away the stupid ones, I can keep playing the way I play.
But on the offensive end, when you have the ball, is there something that you're doing to try to get them to foul you?
Yeah, just drive to the basket, put foul pressure, use fakes, and just get to the basket and trying to draw some fouls, put the other team in bad position, and I can shoot free throws. So.
Just looking forward to Saturday. What are you thinking? Does UCLA still mean any more than any other game at all, or they're down a little bit, but they won tonight?
I mean, this point in the season, we got to win every game. Every game is must win. So every game means a lot to us, not just this game tonight or UCLA, any game in front of us. So yeah, I guess every game is extra.
Well, and you've been here for a while now too. Like, it seems like fans historically have viewed UCLA as one of the opponents they like to see. It's been a popular team. I mean, do you pick up on that at all? Like, do you feel like, this is the last game in the Pac-12 that they'll be playing?
I mean, yeah, we've always had great games against them, and they're a great program. Had a lot of good players come through there, so we always had really good games, and I think the crowd enjoys that. So hopefully we get another one Saturday.
Our pregame show Spotlight on a Cat is brought to you by O'Reilly Chevrolet. Get more with O'Reilly Chevrolet.
Pelle Larsson, you heard there. And Kelvin, we talked about this a couple times this season. I'm sure Pelle's been in these battles. He understands what it means. You've got some guys that have not been in this game before who are going to be key today, and Keyshawn Johnson and Caleb Love. But Tommy Lloyd has done an outstanding job, I think, this season, as we've seen and as we've heard, of letting these guys know and understand what the importance of each game is. And I'm sure there's been a tutorial about Arizona UCLA, the history of this rivalry. So at least, although Caleb and Keyshot and maybe some of the other new guys like Mateus Krivas have not played in a game like this before, they'll have an understanding of it going in. And that is our spotlight on a cat for today.
This today's Spotlight on a Cat has been brought to you by O'Reilly Chevrolet. Get more with O'Reilly Chevrolet.
All right, let's guys go to the other thing that's ailing this team right now, and that is their ability to attack the zone defense. And we've seen that they were a little bit better against that in the win over USC the other night, although Tommy Lloyd felt like they did get a little stagnant against the zone in the second half.
You play against that much zone, sometimes it changes the rhythm of the game, and at the halftime, we're up 10. I didn't necessarily feel great, but, when you look at the efficiency, we're 1.3 on offense, which is, better than our normal. So you're clipping it out right. Sometimes that zone does it, but in the second half, it can be kind of, we got stagnant for whatever reason.
And Kelvin, J-Dub and I had this conversation yesterday, and I'll kind of throw kind of to you what I saw when I went back and broke down the tape, and that was that they were obviously there's three times I think they were really good against it. The one and the most obvious is if you can get out in transition. You get out in transition, don't let them get back and get into that zone. That's when, and we've seen it. It doesn't matter whether it's zone or any other defense. When the Wildcats are getting out in transition and being able to get quick baskets, they're at their best. The other two times, though, when they were having to get into an offensive set was when they were able to get the ball in quickly to Umar Ballo and let him either work inside, get him as soon as he posted up, made sure the ball was in his hands so he could attack the basket, or if they were attacking it from the baseline with one of their quick guards.
Yeah, I mean, they attacked it several different ways, especially in that first half. They seem a little bit more locked in, understanding that, hey, we have to prove that we can beat the zone. As you said, I think in the second half a little bit, they kind of, fell asleep a little bit. You're still playing it, but you're not playing it at the same intensity. You're not running the break at the same intensity. But you got to give USC some credit with that. They were getting back, taking away that break and forcing us to pass the ball, and we were moving the ball around the perimeter. You either want to push that defense with that pass into the middle, like you said, to Ballo right there, or even to Keyshot at the high post. We'd love to see Bradley in there too, right there at the high post, because as you said, he can make that free throw and he can make that pass, because that pass from inside out, whether it's to dropping it off or kicking it out, is just so important to kill in the zone when you get to the heart of that defense. But I want to also say something about when you mentioned the Caleb Love and Keyshot Johnson. These guys played in games, big games before. Coach did a great job getting guys that are not going to be afraid of these moments. And I don't worry about these guys versus UCLA. I worry about guys against the Washingtons and the Stanford and the lower name Oregon States and teams like that, because, they came here to play against these type of games. They're going to be motivated and hyped up. I'm sure UCLA is going to come with the zone defense. I've watched them do it versus UCLA. So that's why it's great that we're talking about this now. But, yeah, they're going to have to be crisp, man. I mean, and you're going to continue to see it. So I guarantee you coaching them is starting to put in a little zone offense and a little bit more zone principles to help the guys play better against it.
Mm-hmm. And Tommy Lloyd also commenting on the way that the Wildcats attacked that zone and what worked well and what didn't work well.
You have to have guys that move together, two or three guys that are on the same page. You can't run just set plays against the zone all the time. The best way to attack zone is just feel for the game and passing and skill and force.
You got to have multiple guys. You got to avoid that two-man pass. Those lobs over the top, those tip balls to Ballo when he's right under the basket, that's no good. There's so many different ways, Kelvin, to attack a 2-3 zone, but what you really want to do is be crisp and quick with the passes and or get in that lane with a couple of dribble moves, kick it back out, move the zone around as a whole, not move one guy out the zone at a time by that perimeter passing style, but move everybody at once, and that's why 2-3 guys on the same page just play basketball, man. It's just basketball.
And is the bounce pass into the middle, is that a better option versus trying to lob it in there?
No, because that bounce pass, man, when that ball hits that floor and it bounces a little slower. You know what I mean, if you can get a solid bullet pass in there to the guy, and that lob pass is just about knowing each other, understanding each other, trusting the guy to catch the ball. So to me, that's the best pass over the first two defenders of the zone. You throw it right over the top. The guy's got to grab it, but you can't be slick about it. You have to have a purpose of getting it over the guy's hands, anticipating them jumping and trying to tip it, and then that guy that you're throwing the ball to, he got to be Jerry Rice.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I mean, he got to get the ball. You got to grab the ball, Michael Irvin. I mean, you got to squeeze it and turn around. Playmaker.
Like with most everything, guys, it's just timing. It's literally just timing. Everybody's got to be on the same page, and you make that pass quick. You made it at the right time, and that's a bucket. But you wait a little bit, half a second too long, Kelvin, and that's trouble.
Yeah. Like I said, and like Coach said, 3 people because it's 1, 2, 3. You make that first pass, that second pass, you just gonna have a good shot or a finish, and that next pass or that penetration, you got something good, and you gotta live with it, and you gotta take a fundamental shot in those situations.
All right, 520-848-1290 is the number if you want to get in on this conversation this morning. It is the Meridian Wealth Management Countdown to Tip-Off Show. We're coming to you live here at the Click Hall of Champions on the backside of McKale Center, right outside the Eddie Lynch Athletics Pavilion. Stop on by. We're also streaming this show. If you want to watch it today, we are streaming on all of our normal platforms. We are on Facebook Live. We are on Twitter. We're on Twitch. We're on YouTube. YouTube, Twitch, and Facebook Live is at WildcatsRadio1290.com. Twitter is at Wildcats1290.com. You can also listen to the audio stream of this show on a number of different locations as well. How about Alexa? If you're sitting at home right now, you're cooking that breakfast before you come down here, just holler Alexa, put on Wildcats Radio 1290, and you can listen to everything we've got from here, comments from Tommy Lloyd and the players, all this great analysis we're getting from J.W. Madden and Kelvin Ifan as well. We're on the iHeart app. We're on Odyssey's app. We're on our website, wildcatsradio1290.com. We also have an app, and you'll want to download that. In fact, why don't you text app right now, 520-848-1290. I'm going to send you a link so you can download our app. There's a preview of today's ball game up there right now. It's called Arizona Basketball Today, and the preview of today's game against UCLA, you can get that right now on our app. So download that and take us wherever you want to go. We've still got a lot more coming up in store for you. Hour 1 is in the books. Hours 2 and 3 are straight ahead. We're going to hear from the great Ryan Hansen. He's going to join us out here live, calls the games on the Arizona Wildcats radio network, has been around this program since the late 90s, and always great insight from Ryan Hansen. Looking forward to having a chance to visit with him this morning and talk some college basketball. Arizona and UCLA for the final time here in Tucson in the Pac-12 era. What are you expecting from this ball game today? Umar Ballo enters today's contest needing just 41 more points to become the 54th player in Arizona history to score 1,000 points as a Wildcat. He already crossed the 1,000-point plateau on his career between Arizona and Gonzaga earlier this year. Now he's got a chance to be in that special club of gentlemen who have scored over 1,000 points for the Arizona Wildcats.
Every Pac-12 game is hard, man.
Yes, one more time, Umar.
Every Pac-12 game is hard, man.
It is, and it's not going to be easy today here against the UCLA Bruins. Looking forward. I mean, if Umar could have a big game like that and get those 41 points tonight, man, that we're talking about memories of this rivalry. I think that would be a memory that a lot of people would hold on to for years. Remember the night Umar scored 41 to get to 1,000 in the final game against UCLA.
Whoa.
That's the kind of stuff that legends are made of. All right, it's the Meridian Wealth Management Countdown to Tip-Off Show with Kelvin Ifan and J.W. Madden. I'm David Kelly. You're listening to Wildcats Radio 1290.
This hour of the Meridian Wealth Management pregame show is brought to you by Advanced Auto Care, Crest Insurance Group, Desert Diamond Casinos, First Chiropractic, Frog & Firkin, Kaiser Garage Doors and Gates, Picture Rocks Cooling, Heating and Plumbing, the Posted Results Team with Keller Williams, Southern Arizona, Royal GMC, Buick and Cadillac, Royal Kia, Royal Jaguar Land Rover, the Window Depot.
Hey, Eugene, what's with the giant pile of scratcher tickets?
Just my next greatest idea ever.
Playing the lottery?
That's right, Doug. With all my winnings, I can enroll in the UberTube car repair classes and finally fix your car right. No more disasters, Doug. Your luck is about to change.
Well, then keep on scratching, Eugene.
Good luck, Eugene. But if you need a sure thing in automotive repair or for your next set of tires, check out Jack Furrier Tire and Auto Care.
You know, we've guaranteed our tires in every auto repair since 1960.
With more than 35 Top Shop awards and our Partners Network 3-year nationwide warranty, you can count on Jack Furrier Tire and Auto Care.
And check out this month's special savings.
Pay with your Jack Furrier Tire and Auto Care card and get $66 back. And check out the full page of promotions, discounts, and coupons at jackfurriers.com.
So call ahead, make an appointment online, or just stop by any of our 14 area locations.
Jack Furrier Tire and Auto Care, since 1960, here to get you there.
Frog & Firkin, a standout among the bars and restaurants in the University area. Frog & Firkin does what very few pubs can, combine a festive atmosphere and great beer with a menu that could stand on its own in any restaurant setting. A sports enthusiast dream with over 30 TVs, 30 beers on tap, and over 100 import and domestic bottles. Daily drink and food specials, and the kitchen is serving until 10. A standout in the University area. Frog & Firkin. Eat local, support local. frogandfirkin.com.
True Wildcat fans know that when you're looking for the best place to watch all the big games on big screens, drinking cold beer and having the best food, all paths lead to Desert Diamond. Bet on your Wildcats and all your favorite teams 24/7 on our easy-to-use kiosks. Come chill on our comfy couches and build your best bet at Arizona's best bet, the Desert Diamond Sportsbook and Bar.
An enterprise of the Thana Autumn Nation.
Problem gambling? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Desert Diamond Casino is licensed in Arizona.
Do you often worry you left the garage door open? With a LiftMaster garage door opener powered by MyQ, you'll never worry again. You can control, secure, and monitor your garage from your smartphone anytime from anywhere through the MyQ app. As an authorized LiftMaster dealer, we have smart openers designed for your needs, including belt drive motors for ultra-quiet operation, integrated camera for live video streaming, and battery backup that lets you in when the power is out.
Kaiser Garage Doors and Gates is your authorized local LiftMaster dealer. Visit KaiserDoor.com for more information.
Get the backyard you've always wanted with a custom pool from First Choice Pools. A backyard oasis built around you. First Choice is a full-service builder of beautiful in-ground pools and backyard designs for years of staycations. If you're ready to dive in, then visit TucsonPoolBuilder.com. Schedule now and get 3 months of full service free. First Choice Pools for installs, renovation, remodeling, and repair. Get started today at TucsonPoolBuilders.com. First Choice Pools, the first and only choice.
At Nova Home Loans, we believe everyone deserves the opportunity to enjoy the independence that comes with home ownership. Whether you're a first-time home buyer who needs down payment assistance, have less than perfect credit, or looking to refinance, Nova has a variety of home loan programs for your unique situation. Visit NovaHomeLoans.com or call 800-955-9125 to learn more. Not a commitment to lend or extend credit. Rates and available loan programs are subject to change without notice. NMLS 3087, BK 0902429, Equal Housing Opportunity.
Tired of dry, itchy skin? Have mineral buildup at every faucet. Ram Plumbing's affordable, green, eco-friendly water softener and alkalized purification systems are built right here in our great state of Arizona and use a fraction of the wastewater as their competitors. Want soft water, non-chlorinated, or the best alkalized drinking water? You can trust Ram Plumbing to be your one-stop shop. Ask about their Water Taste Challenge. 40th year anniversary savings, up to $500 off water systems and $40 off any service. If your plumbing's in trouble, call Ram on the double.
KCUB Tucson, a Cumulus media station. We have the Arizona Wildcats covered on game day like no one else. We are Wildcats Radio 1290. The Meridian Wealth Management Countdown to Tip-Off Show continues on the home of Arizona men's basketball, Wildcats Radio 1290.
Bynum Trying to cross him over. KJ not giving up anything right now. And the pass, nobody was looking. Stolen away by Bradley. Jaden will drive in on Carlisle. Lay it up and good.
Tough layup there by Jaden Bradley off this field. Able to take that contact and put it off the glass.
And welcome back out here to McKale Center, getting you set for the Wildcats and the UCLA Bruins today for the final time in Tucson. I'm David Kelly, joined as always by Kelvin E. Fun and JW Madness back in the studio. We are working our way to a 2 o'clock tip-off, so about 3 hours from now this game will get underway here today between the Bruins and the Wildcats. The Wildcats looking to get this first win against the Bruins. Will be 2 meetings this year. The other one will be in Los Angeles later in the season. Let's give you an indication of what we've got coming up for you in this hour of the show.
Let's take a look at the Right Way Rundown and see what's coming up on our pregame show. Brought to you by Right Way Heating, Cooling, and Plumbing. Do things the right way.
All right, Ryan Hansen will join us for our view from courtside. That's brought to you by Kaiser Garage Door and Gates. We'll check the Pac-12 scoreboard, the Mesquite Valley Growers NCAA basketball scoreboard. We'll take a look back at what happened last night for the Arizona women's basketball team. Another tough 2-point road loss. They have lost 3 straight games now on the road by a grand total of 7 points, having lost by 3 at Oregon State, by 2 at Oregon, and then Friday night in the final seconds, a 2-point loss at Washington. So the ladies staying tough, but not being able to get those important wins on the road. We'll give you our pest of the game, who's going to be that Bruin today that might get underneath the skin of the Arizona Wildcats, brought to you always by University Termite and Pest Control. Our best bets also will be straight ahead. The over-under today is 143. These games have been trending a little bit under as of late. David Brandt is also going to join us a little bit later. He'll help give us our opponent scouting report on the Bruins from the AP, Associated Press, up in Phoenix. David Brandt saw the game on Wednesday night up in Tempe as the Bruins got the win over the Arizona State Sun Devils. Kelvin, we did not get a chance to speak with you about this the other night, but 2 young men and 1 older man is going to be heading into the Ring of Honor here for Arizona men's basketball. One who we are going to honor here today is Benedict Mathurin will be in the house. He'll take his spot in the Ring of Honor, a Wooden Award All-American. In his final season, his Pac-12 Player of the Year following his sophomore season, and that alone gets him entrance into the Ring of Honor. 2 seasons here, just under 1,000 points, shot 38% from 3, was a 6th overall selection in the NBA draft by the Indiana Pacers. Your thoughts on Benedict Mathurin? Christian Coloco, his teammate, will also take his place in the Ring of Honor coming up in mid-February. And then Kenny Lofton, going back to the 1980s, a man who was adept at taking away the basketball from the opponent, retired or left here as the all-time steals leader in men's basketball program history, and then got out of basketball and went on to become a 6-time All-Star in Major League Baseball. Your thoughts on those 3 guys being in the Ring of Honor?
Well, first I'm going to talk about Kenny Lofton because, Coach Olsen saw a lot of me in what Kenny brought. And so that's why I think he wanted me to wear number 11, when I got here. But, man, was a great guy, man. I mean, it was great to meet him, great to, be around campus and see him walking around when he came back in the summers and everything. And just, the way he played. I mean, early years not getting much time, but then, filling his role and doing all the little things needed for that team to, to play well together. I'm just totally excited for him because, again, one of the best defenders to ever wear that jersey. I say him and Reggie Gary. That's where I'm going.
There you go.
And then then I'm gonna go with Ben Matherman, man. I'm proud of that guy, man, because I remember, in the first, when Coach Lloyd first came, and it was, took him a little adjusting to what Lloyd was doing coming out of being a star player for Miller, right? So it took him a little time to adjust, man. But when he adjusted, man, he took off, man. I mean, and he just played amazing. Player of the year, man. That in itself deserves to be up in there, man. But just the style of play, I thought, brought back the spirit of Arizona basketball back to that running gun style that Coach Olson used to do. And then Koloko, man, that sad news about, what we just heard about. I think blood clot
issue,
and everything. Yeah, so I'm definitely praying for him, man. But again, another guy that worked his way up. I remember him coming out of, I think it was Sierra Canyon, coming out of high school, coming here, thin guy. I remember watching him in high school, not quite knowing what he really was going to bring to the table, whether his shot blocking was going to translate to the college, and it did in a big way, man. I mean, he played great, got better as an offensive player, finishing around the bucket. His hands got better in the weight room. These guys just amplify or great examples of what you want to be up in your stadium. I mean, the type of names you want guys looking up to, because when they go do their research about these guys, they're going to understand what it is to be a Wildcat.
Christian Koloko, 3 seasons here at the University of Arizona, one of the better defensive players to ever put on the uniform, especially down there in the post. A Pac-12 Defensive Player of the Year, had 102 blocked shots in that 21-22 season, finished his career ranked 5th in school history in blocked shots, and then drafted in the second round by the Toronto Raptors, played last season but has not again played this season due to the blood clotting issues, and unfortunately was waived the other day by the Raptors. So we'll see what the next step is in Christian Koloko's career, obviously getting healthy first of all before hopefully getting another shot either back with the Raptors or another team. Speaking of you, Kelvin Ifan, we had a chance yesterday to speak to one of your former teammates, a gentleman by the name of Brad Brennan, who is the brother of the new head football coach here at the University of Arizona, Brent Brennan. And I asked Brad, tell me about Kelvin Ifan.
Brad, Kelvin Ifan is a part of our analyst team here with Wildcats Radio 1290.
Hey.
Tell me about Kelvin.
Oh, man. That is a passionate dude right there. I mean, Kelvin, like, he's a guy you want on your side, especially because he brings some real fire. When he gets excited, though, it's really hard to understand what he's saying because he's so excited. And he's got this, like, awesome slang to him, and a lot of 4-letter words, colorful language at times, which is great because it got everybody super hyped. But he is a Wildcat, man. He embodies what, a real teammate and leader is. He was a grinder. He always was trying to get the best out of everybody. Even if those were like hard conversations with dudes. Before the game, I remember one time we were at the hotel. I used to stay in hotels all the time before games then. We had the projector. We would watch like a highlight video, and then him and some of the captains would say something real quick. Then we jump on the bus and go to the game. Well, Kelvin got so excited that he started throwing a chair around in there a little bit, and blew up the projector screen. And so we were all laughing our ass off. Kelvin got a little excited right before the game, and we left the hotel. But he was always bringing the energy. Just a great teammate. And everyone always rallied around him. He had a special way special.
Blew up a projector screen, Kelvin?
That ain't what you should have took out of that. You should have took out of that. I brought everybody together. No, I remember that, man. I remember. You know what it was it was on the projector was ASU celebrating on our goal post or something. It was ASU doing something like that, and just in the back of my mind, all I seen was Daniel Greer getting his leg broke, ankle broke. just them beating us, just that thought in my mind just kind of took me somewhere for a second. And I was just letting all the guys know that you don't want to see me if we don't win this game, And so I'm so proud of them guys, man, the way that, we went and played and the way we represented, the school and, and each other. But, Brad, man, I mean, you telling me, man, you talking about a guy that walked on. I was coming from basketball basically like a walk-on. I hadn't played football in 2 years, so I don't know how Coach Tommy trusted that I would be a good player. But whatever he saw in me, thank you, Coach. But anyway, Brad, man, just seeing how hard he worked, man. I mean, you down that depth chart. You don't know if you're ever going to get opportunity. You playing with Jeremy McDaniel. You playing with Dennis Northcutt. I mean, how I'm ever going to get a chance to make a difference in the games. And when I tell you everything that went to him, he caught it. He always knew where to be, when to be, always on time, man. Just he was kind of quiet, but he was about his business, and that's what it's about. And that's the same thing, about his brother, the type of family those guys are, man. I'm excited for those guys to be around, and I know I'm gonna get a chance to be around a lot more now because I know the guy that's in that head office. So I'm just excited about all that.
Sounds like he was a lot like you. I mean, you scored down by the goal line. He only had 66 catches, but 11 of them were for touchdowns.
Yeah, man, he 11 more of a touchdown. Now, I'm going to say something about that, too, because, okay, they say I had 16 touchdowns. I had like 150 carries, though. So I think a lot of times people forget also the stuff that you did in the field. You know what I'm saying? I mean, trust me, same with Brad. Like you said, 11 touchdowns, but he had 50 catches, and I guarantee you probably 30 were for first downs. And that's the same thing with myself. I was the first down getter, the chain mover. That was more important to me. I mean, the goal line touchdown, we needed those because it was hard to score. I got that role because I used to watch from the sideline in the basketball, and they couldn't score. They had smaller type of backs, and they kind of couldn't score. And I was like, I could see myself being that guy, and so kind of made that role up for myself. But yeah, no, man, guys that just made the most out of their opportunities. That's what I'll say of both of us and everybody on that team when I think about it.
Kelvin, I promised Brad yesterday I'd tell you what's up. So, what's up?
Yes, sir. That's my guy, man.
Brad Brennan, U of A football class of 2000. His brother taking over the program here. We got a chance to talk to the head coach yesterday. Great conversation with Brent Brennan, our first opportunity to speak with him. And if you want to hear that interview, head on over to our website right now. It is up there, wildcatsradio1290.com, or head on over to our app. As I mentioned before, you can access all of our content over there on our app as well. So just some good stuff there.
He told a great story, Kelvin, about Dino, the practice.
Dino Babers.
Yeah, and Chris McAllister wasn't there the first few days, and they lined up for some one-on-one drills. Yeah, a great story.
Yeah, he got so I guess his first rep against Chris McAllister. Chris McAllister picked him up and planted him in the ground. And Dino Babers walked up and said, "Welcome to the Pac-10, Brennan."
Ooh, I can only imagine. That was a size disadvantage right there, boy. I'm telling you, we called him Ragdoll because, he was so light, you know what I mean? And guys kind of would throw him around, and he would just jump right back up, And Coach Homer Smith gave him that name, by the way. Rest in peace, Coach Homer Smith. Great coach, man. But he just again, was a guy that just would do anything, man, would catch that ball. Had the great hands. I don't know how he got open because I didn't really think he was that fast, but he always was open.
Speaking of the new head coach, he was welcomed to the family by the current men's basketball coach.
First, I'd like to welcome Coach Brennan. Obviously he's going to be a great addition, and I got to spend a little bit of time with him today, so it was great to meet him. Second, I want to send our thoughts and condolences to, our main man, Steve Kerr. It's a sad tragedy, what happened, while they're at a staff dinner. I can't imagine. So, sometimes there's bigger things than the game, and, Steve's always been a great reminder of that and a great mentor for all of us for that. So, make sure you're thinking of him because I know he's wearing it and, going through a lot.
Yeah, Tommy Lloyd referencing the tragic passing this week of Dejan Milojevic, the assistant coach for the Golden State Warriors, who collapsed at a team dinner in Utah earlier in the week and passed away the next day. A very difficult situation that the Golden State Warriors have been dealing with this week, and they have already canceled a couple of ball games as they deal with that tragedy that has hit their family. And, of course, we all send, like Coach said, send our thoughts out to Steve Kerr and Bruce Frazier and all of the rest of the Golden State Warriors family as they continue to deal with that during this NBA basketball season. Again, though, congratulations to the 3 men who will be inducted into the Ring of Honor. Benedict Mathurin will be honored here today. There is an availability with him prior to the game at 1:15 today, and we'll let you hear a little bit of that coming up later on the post-game show tonight after this one between the Wildcats and the UCLA Bruins. Let's get another break in here. When we come back, we'll have much more for you as we work our way to tip-off at 2 o'clock. We are right on the back side of McKale Center, the patio here at the Jim Click Hall of Champions, right outside of the Eddie Lynch Athletics Pavilion. We've got the Air Force flying over right now on a partly cloudy day here in Tucson, but a beautiful day for a rivalry game between the Bruins and the Wildcats. It's the Meridian Wealth Management Countdown to Tip-Off Show, along with Kelvin Efon and J.W. Madden. I'm David Kelly. You're listening to Wildcats Radio 1290.
This hour of the Meridian Wealth Management pregame show is brought to you by Blue Whale Car Wash, Caruso's Italian Restaurant, Cool Willie's Air and Plumbing, The Diamond Store, Goldberg and Osborne, Goodfellas AC, Humane Society of Southern Arizona, Lexus of Tucson, Nova Home Loans, Recon Auto Detail, Ride Now Power Sports Tucson, Tucson Police Department.
At Standard Restaurant Supply, their vision and #1 goal is to improve the lives of their customers and clients by providing a better culinary experience. Standard Restaurant Supply, if it's in a restaurant and not food, they have it. Open to the public, no membership fees, and they offer bulk store pricing without the bulk store purchase. Open Monday through Saturday at 601 South Cherry Avenue or call 885-2345. Standard Restaurant Supply is a proud sponsor of the U of A Radio Sports broadcast.
My heat and air work in a state of disrepair.
With the new year, we usually make resolutions to be healthier. Water quality in your home can help you achieve healthy living goals. I'm Ron Arenas with Picture Rock's Cooling, Heating, and Plumbing. We offer solutions to filter the water in your house that you drink, shower, and cook with every day. For clean and healthy water, call 520-440-4069.
Picture Rock's Cooling, Heating, and Plumbing.
What up, Tucson? This is Joseph Blair, former Wildcat and assistant coach of the Washington Wizards. When I came to play basketball at the U of A in the 90s, the Tucson community became and has always remained a special part of my life. And this is why I proudly joined the Meridian Wealth Management Tucson Advisory Business Council. If you have financial questions or concerns, please be sure and call my friends Natalie or Ruben Fernandez at 719-1433 or visit online at Meridian Wealth LLC. And as always, bear down, Tucson.
Advisory services provided by Meridian Wealth Management, a registered investment advisor.
Here's an important message from University Termite and Pest Control. The weather is getting cooler here, and so rodents will be seeking alternative housing. Do you need a professional? Call University Termite and Pest Control, 886-4146. They've been serving Tucson since 1974. You can be assured University Termite and Pest Control will keep you pest-free using the most responsible products and application methods. 28 school districts, 3 hospitals, 2 colleges, 1 university, and thousands of homeowners trust University Termite and Pest Control. You can too. Call University Termite and Pest Control today at 886-4146 or go to bepestfree.com.
The Window Depot is proud to sponsor the first look at today's game and would like to invite Arizona Wildcat fans to visit one of their Tucson warehouses. The Window Depot provides over 1,000 in-stock vinyl windows, interior and exterior doors, plus granite and quartz countertops, and a huge selection of custom cabinetry, all at the lowest prices in town. Consider the Window Depot your MVP when it comes to your home improvement needs. Stores are open Monday through Saturday, or order online at thewindow.depot.com. The Window Depot, more than a window store.
Hey, Eugene, what's with the giant pile of scratcher tickets?
With these scratchers, I'll win enough dough to enroll in the UberTube car repair classes and finally know how to fix your car right.
Well, then keep on scratching, Eugene.
Good luck on that, guys. But if you need a sure thing in automotive repair or for your next set of tires, check out Jack Furrier Tire and Auto Care. And this month, pay with your Jack Furrier Tire and Auto Care card and get $66 back.
And check out our full page of promotions and discounts at jackfurriers.com.
Jack Furrier Tire and Auto Care since 1960, here to get you there.
Savings in Selection 100 is going on right now at O'Reilly Chevrolet because we have selection, we have savings, and we have over 100 trucks, including Chevy Silverados, the #1 selling full-size pickup in Arizona. See them all at O'Reilly.com. Call 747-8000 or test drive one today on Broadway next to Park Place Mall. Find new roads during Savings in Selection 100 at O'Reilly Chevrolet. More than a great price.
O'Reilly Chevrolet.
See dealer for details.
Experiencing the Sonoran Desert's natural wonders comes easy at Rockin' Cay. Nestled at the base of the Rincon Mountain foothills, enjoy stunning mountain views up close every day. 6 model homes are now open to tour at Del Webb at Rockin' Cay. Here, life is about more than just beautiful homes. It's about the experiences waiting outside your front door at this new 55-plus active adult neighborhood. LiveRockinCay.com. Designed by nature, built for you. Proud U of A radio broadcast sponsor.
The Meridian Wealth Management Countdown to Tip-Off Show continues on the home of Arizona men's basketball, Wildcats Radio 1290.
Looking and throws it, intercepted by Keyshawn Johnson. Cross court goes to Love. Love going to drive inside on Rodman, laid up good, and he's fouled.
Arizona and UCLA today here at McKale Center. 2 o'clock tip-off of this ball game. This is the Meridian Wealth Management Countdown to Tip-Off show. I am David Kelly. It is also brought to you by Dave & Buster's, the best place to eat, drink, and play while watching today's game between the Wildcats and UCLA. One thing that came out of the win over the USC Trojans the other night, gentlemen, was, again, the struggles of Umar Ballo at the line, making just 4 for 10. He finished the game with 8 points, 13 rebounds, 4 of 10 from the line. The Wildcats as a team shot 16 of 26. That is only 62%, with Ballo obviously bringing that number down with 40% from the line. Let's first hear from the head coach on an update on what he's thinking in terms of Ballo and his issues at the charity stripe.
I don't know if I'm concerned because I just think there's a value for him getting us in the bonus and the double bonus, but obviously I would feel better if he was, making 75% of them, but, he does so many other positive things, I can't just get hung up on that.
Guys, what do you think in terms of he makes a good point there in terms of, Ballo's getting fouled. The more he gets fouled, the higher the foul count goes. And we saw that very early in that game against USC. I think USC had like 3 fouls in the first minute and a half of that game.
Well, not only how the higher the foul count goes, and as Coach said, get you in the 1-and-1 and the 2-shot bonus, but it also get their guys in foul trouble, so they have to come off the bench. And so if you're getting some of those shot blockers out the game that's fouling Ballo, that only makes offense easier for the other guys, easier for Krevis when he comes off the bench. So I just feel like that, it's valuable to have a guy out there that's affecting the game positively, regardless of if he's knocking down the free throws. Now late in the game, if it's a close game, that's a little bit different. Maybe you have to take him out then, but it is my guy. So, but any other time, man, you got to have him in that game because again, he brings defensive rebounding, again, scoring around the rim, and just that the screens that he makes to get other guys open is valuable as well.
We are awaiting the arrival of a special guest here at the table. The great Ryan Hansen.
My scout team teammate. Scout team teammate, baby.
Sat down with us here, Ryan Hansen, who calls the games with Brian Jeffries on the Arizona Wildcats radio network for Learfield, and has done so now. Well, Ryan's been in that chair, I believe, since I got there, and which was 16 years ago. So what's the grand total now?
Oh, it goes way back, and it really starts, like you said, it was me and K-Rock Let's just go. Let's talk about the best scout team in the history of Arizona
Oh,
men's
wow,
basketball,
okay.
right? So let's go back.
Hey.
So it was the spring of 1996. So it starts with Jason Terry at the point. Pretty good start,
Yes.
right? A.J. Bramlett is the 5-man.
Yep.
Thomas Demps is the 4-man.
Big
Brought
man.
in
Yep,
big
yep,
Thomas Demps
yep.
from the football
Football
team.
team.
And then me and K-Rock on the wings.
Wow.
And I'll tell you what, that was a fun time for me. I was just a student manager. I was the 12th man on a 12-man roster in high school. But to be on the floor with these guys, and I had one job. Jesse Evans, great assistant coach of ours, had the scout against Oregon. I can still remember this. And Jesse told me I was emulating a guy named Tarek Brown.
Oh, man.
He
yes.
averaged 6 attempts from the three-point line a game.
Yes.
Average, right? So he's kind of Caleb Love. Just let it rip. And Jesse told me one thing. He said, Rhino, when you are on the scout team, every time you touch the ball, shoot it. Please, please, for the love of God, hit the rim.
just hit the rim.
Just hit the rim.
Well,
Hit the rim.
Before we go any further than that, we do have an intro for this segment, so let's get that, and then we'll carry on.
It's time now to take you down the front row of the arena. A view from courtside is brought to you by Kaiser Garage Door and Gates. Kaiser, celebrating 25 years serving Southern Arizona.
And our view from courtside is with Ryan Hansen, the color analyst on the radio broadcast for the Arizona Wildcats. I'm just floored. So, like, was that a thing? I mean, I was a basketball manager, but I think I might have maybe suited up. I might have maybe got involved in one practice, and that was maybe only, like, because they needed an extra person. But was that a regular thing?
No. I ball shagger, rebounder.
Okay, all right.
I did a lot of
The
video
normal-
work.
the normal
yeah,
things,
We were on the
okay.
road and had some academic and injury issues, and
Okay.
we could not suit up 10 guys
Oh,
at
wow.
MAC court to actually go up and down. And so I got the tap. And so there's been a couple of managers that have stepped in those crazy scenarios, but I had no business being on the floor. Let's be honest. You mentioned, I have one more story about that. So you mentioned the great Reggie Geary in regards, great partner of ours on the broadcast as well. Arguably one of the best defenders in the history of Arizona basketball. And I learned more about defense that day. I actually hit a 3 on Reggie. I made one basket
Wow,
on
okay.
that floor. After I hit the shot, Reggie got up into my ear and said, "You will not score again." Boys, I didn't touch the ball for the rest of the practice. I learned more about what goes on, and I'll use your football terminology, in the trenches.
Right.
And how Reggie would hold me and grab me in the angles and physically just outmanned me. And learn more about what Reggie knew on defense and how to play. It was a fun time of my life. Obviously, K-Rock and I roomed together on the road a few times, so that's kind of parlayed into the broadcasting career. So just like you said, DK, I've been on the broadcast in some form or another with Brian since the 97-98 season.
Wow, that is something. And you know, we've heard guys since KJ Lewis got here that he's kind of maybe in that mold of a Reggie Geary defensively. What have you seen from him, Ryan, that maybe makes that an accurate statement?
I think there's two things that really start for him. One, he's got the physical tools. I mean, he is a man, right? When you see his length, you see his deltoids, he's strong. But really the second piece is probably more important than the physical tools, and that's the want. The desire to be a defensive stopper, to get out there. And so as a freshman, that's unique. Most guys that come in now, it's get mine. Get my shots, highlight pass, highlight dunk. And granted, he can do that too, and that's, I think, what makes him so special. But defensively, he wants to be a difference maker. He wants to be a disruptor, and boy, is he ever. I'd like to see more of him in that. We saw it early on. I don't want to say he's faded, but, you know, as a freshman, you go through ups and downs, and I think he's critical. If Arizona's going to make a deep run, KJ Lewis is as important to that run in the tournament as any starter on the roster.
And you know what I'll add to that? I think when I think back about Boswell, I think he really jumped on the map with his defense and his effort. That's the reason why he got his name in the position of going into the NBA draft. And I think KJ need to go back and look at that and say, man, that's how people started to notice you. I mean, it's fine. I see him shooting his little 3-ball. I mean, that's the reward from getting playing time, from playing such good defense. But I want to see him get back to that, you know, diving on the floor, chasing people down, being an aggressive defender. Not that he's lost it, but you want to see a little bit more of an edge, especially now after losing to a Washington State and a Stanford.
I like comparing. You do too. We look back historically, and maybe physically you look at KJ and say, ooh, Andre Iguodala. You look at him and say maybe a Richard Jefferson, and that's another guy who his junior year averaged, 11 points a game, but it was the run in the tournament where we put Richard, I say we, Coach Olson. I was on staff, but Coach Olson put Richard on the best perimeter player game after game after game. It was Frank Williams. It was night after night in the tournament, Jason Richardson.
Right.
And Richard was able to showcase his skills defensively. And at that point in his career, by the time he was a junior, he became a reliable three-point shooter for us, knocked down some big shots. That parlayed his career into the lottery. And I really feel like, obviously, personally, he's a great person, hard worker, had all those things too. But because he had defense first, showed that he could be a capable knockdown shooter, that put him in the lottery.
Wow, wow. And you look at Jaden Bradley, and Tommy Lloyd has been just raving about his plus-minus over the last maybe 6 or 7 games. For Ryan, for people maybe that don't understand that, what are we seeing Jaden Bradley do on the court that leads to that number that he's had? I think it's like plus 60 over the last 5 games.
Yeah, and
so.
thank you for talking about the plus-minus. I believe in it sometimes. Other times I think it can be overblown, but I think in this case it's accurate. So for listeners that may not understand, what does that mean? It means when Jaden's on the floor, Arizona is outscoring its opponents. That's really essentially what it means. That no matter what combination is on the floor, he's a part of that chemistry that leads to success for the Wildcats. And it starts for him, again, on the defensive end. Watching him, he's an incredible individual defender, a man on-ball defender. He's got great length. He's got great anticipation. Kind of has we talk about basketball IQ a lot on the offensive end.
Right.
He's got basketball IQ on the defensive end. He knows where to be. I think he's growing into his offensive game. He's starting to figure out, okay, I'm not really needing to be a volume three-point shooter.
Right.
In fact, I need to only shoot when I am the only person on that half of the floor, and that's okay at this part of his career. His evolution is getting to the point where he can understand, I remember against USC, ball fake, one dribble pull-up. Use that confidence because that's his game. Get inside the three-point arc at this point of your career. Develop your shooting and your perimeter shots in the offseason, not during the season. And so as he can become more of a reliable scorer for Arizona, we talked about K.J. Lewis off the bench, how important that is for a deep run. Jaden Bradley's just as important because when you look at Arizona's deep run teams, yes, there was high-ceiling starters. The bench had NBA players.
100.
An NBA, right? Andre came off the bench in that Elite Eight run there. You look at what we did. Corey Williams came off the bench. Jason Terry came off the bench. Judd Bushler came off the bench. Kenny Lofton came off the bench when we give K-Dog some love for the Ring of Honor. That's where Jaden Bradley and K.J. Lewis have to recognize their value to this team. And if it's starting, if it's Jaden Bradley starting the second half, I thought that was a good move. I think Kylan is still developing. Give the guy some grace, as Tommy said. It's okay. It's not about starting. I get the mental side of that. But to your point, DK, Jaden can be extremely valuable to Arizona and will be important for us long term.
No better guy to give us our view from courtside than Ryan Hansen, brought to you by Kaiser Garage Door and Gates. Kaiser celebrating 25 years of serving Arizona. Before you sat down, Ryan, we were talking about Oumar Ballo. 4 for 10 from the free throw line in the game against USC. And I thought I heard two interesting things. One from Tommy Lloyd was, and Kelvin and I talked about how he said that, hey, as long as Oumar is getting fouled a lot, we're getting to the double bonus faster. It's a benefit for us offensively. But I also heard something that Jay Billis said during the broadcast where he felt like it could become an issue in the postseason where you have to bring him off the floor at the end of the games to protect your team and put guys on the floor that can make free throws. What is your assessment of where we are with Oumar, his foul shooting, and how that may be a positive or a negative for this team moving forward?
I think Jay Billis is right on point. If you're Tommy Lloyd, you're not going to say in a press conference, we might have to take out our starting center, right? You don't want to even plant that seed.
Yeah.
In fact, it's the opposite. You're trying to build confidence, especially at the free throw line, because we all know it's a mental game. And it's not that Oumar Ballo has been a poor free throw shooter his entire life and he can't break through. Look at his history here at Arizona. His numbers have gone down. That's the unfortunate part versus gone up. But he's shown he could be capable there. But it is a potential liability in a close game. We have not seen Ballo a lot. We saw it in the Alabama game in a sequence, and Ballo went bang bang, knocked them both down. They didn't do it again. But you don't want to. Fingers crossed in the second round of the NCAA tournament. Well, let's hope that Ballo were on the right side of that, and that's challenging for us because of everything Oumar does. But you can't deny what Tommy talks about as far as drawing fouls, putting opponents in challenged positions. Today could be an exact situation. You look at what Adem Bona can do. He's a difference maker on the defensive end. In the last 3 games, he has 13 fouls. He's fouled out of the last 2. This guy is so aggressive, so good defensively, but he's just not able to corral it. Umar Ballo could draw that, and I'd rather have a Dem Bone on the bench in foul trouble than Umar Ballo on the bench because we're worried about his free throw shooting in the middle part of the game. I get though what Jay Billis is saying.
At the end of the game, right. And a lot of that is going to depend on how he's shooting in that game. You know, if he's shooting pretty good in that game, I mean, we're going to kind of go with him, you know, because he's rebounding and he has a force where he does a good job on the other guy's big. Yeah, I mean, he pushes him off. Big Edie, I mean, he makes it tough for guys. So you want him on the court. But, again, at the end of the games, like I said before, that's a different thing. But it all depends on how he's shooting that day. If he's shooting 70% that day, 65, I might keep him on.
And you look at if he draws, let's say, 6 fouls on shots at the rim, what if he makes 3 of those? Like don't take away the potential for an and one.
Yeah.
And you need Ballo. I think the thing for him, if I were coaching, I'm not that smart. I think he needs to just get his balance. I think he's not exploding to the rim here as of late as much as he can, and I think he's either trying to go too fast or he gets knocked off and gets a little off balance. Take your time, get your feet under you, and explode because he's a load, and he's hard to get knocked off when he has his balance.
So, when you mentioned that, obviously that's another issue that this team has been dealing with is shots at the rim, 11 of 28 in this last game. Is that something with all the guys, or is everybody, are you seeing off balance? Is that just an Umar thing and other guys are just missing for other reasons?
Well, if you look at what Tommy Lloyd is all about, it's high percentage shots, right? And shots at the rim he has been all about for 3 years. This year, coming into the Washington State game, we were averaging 20 makes at the rim per game. Last 2, 11 and 11. And so the zone has something to do with it a little bit. Ballo missing at the rim. Keyshot had a number of shots at the rim. Pella smoked a lay-in. We had a couple back cuts that were beautifully drawn up. Perfect part of the offense. Jaden and Kylan missed at the rim, right? And so that is part of the offense, and you got to finish. And so for Arizona, that is critical for the Cats. They don't have to get to 20. It's not every night, but you need a high percentage, and Arizona's offense is predicated on those shots at the rim. They need more than 11 to really be who they are.
And the defenses have something to do with that, too. I think they're selling out. They're selling out like, let's foul these guys. Let's be physical. Let's force the ref's hand. Either it's going to let us play or they're going to have to call it. And that's the way it looks like the teams are playing us. They're figuring out that's their best chance to beat us because if Arizona gets to get in that passing and moving the ball and finishing with the assist type of offense, you can't beat them. So if I'm a team, I'm, as they say, mucking it up, I would muck it up too. I would make it up. I would force the referees to, like ASU game. That's the same thing with UCLA
look out
did.
for today. It might be the coach for UCLA today might be named Muck Cronin.
Yeah.
Because that's exactly what's going to happen today. He wants it in the 60s. It's going to be a zone.
Yeah.
He's gonna throw bigs out there that aren't unbelievable skilled players.
Right.
But Kenneth Nuba, that guy he's played for 4 years. He's averaged 1 point in his career. 1 point a game. But what does he do? Screens, rebounds,
Physical.
mucks it up. He could be a muck-it-up player today that could hurt Arizona at the rim if the Wildcats don't finish, don't get him into foul trouble, don't move the ball.
All right, so what do the Wildcats need to do to improve against these zones they're seeing?
You know, I heard you guys talking about it earlier, and I thought you made some great points. You got to just play basketball, first of all. And one thing that Arizona's got to do, beat the zone down the floor. That's where it starts.
Yeah.
Don't let it get set. J-Dub had a great take. Make the entirety of the zone move. Don't expect 1 or 2 passes along the perimeter and you move 1 or 2 guys that's going to create openings. Coach Olson was all about getting into the heart of the zone. Get the ball into the middle of the zone, the lane or the high post, either by dribble or by high post entry. Now, what's interesting this year, you had Azulis Tabellis last year that was a high post threat. You could throw to him, he could knock down the shot. You had high-low entry. This year, I don't feel like Tommy's really looking to Keyshot to be in that same role.
Yeah.
He's not as reliable at the 15-foot jump shot area. So if you watched the game on Thursday night, we were trying to set more screens on the perimeter, especially the top 2 guys in that 2-3 zone, so that we could come off the screen and get the dribble penetration into the lane. We didn't get as much. First half, we got very few post touches. I think we can't go away from post touches. Don't be afraid to screen the zone. Attack the middle, beat the zone down. That would be kind of my recipe if I were sitting on the sideline.
Right. We are joined by Ryan Hansen. It's our View from Courtside, brought to you by Kaiser Garage Door and Gates. Kaiser celebrating 25 years of serving Arizona. Ryan, how are you looking at this day? Arizona, UCLA, for the final time in the Pac-12 here in Tucson?
Sadness to a certain degree. You've been in the league a long time, have followed it. Obviously, your managerial days with the SoCal crew, and to think that the LA weekend is no more. Even if UCLA comes back here in a non-con, and I think that's going to happen. I actually do. It won't be the same. And we're talking 40 years of elite level play, of personalities, of players that were recruited by both teams. I mean, I can remember we recruited Pooh Richardson as hard as anybody, and he went to UCLA. And they recruited Wayne Womack as hard as anybody, and we got him. And so year after year, Jason Terry versus Baron Davis, Toby Bailey and J.R. Henderson, Walt Hazard, Jim Herrick, Ben Howland, Lute Olson, Sean Miller, and Steve Alford. Like, let's not forget that. The timeout in less than a minute. That was one of my favorite moments of this rivalry that no one talks about. But it's an incredible rivalry that I think people on the West Coast have learned to appreciate. But nationally, I hope that there's some great talk and narrative around this game today, because at one point in time, and I'll talk about it, I interviewed Doug Haller for our pregame show that comes on after your guys' is over earlier this morning, and he wrote an incredibly great article on The Athletic about this rivalry. So go check it out. And he talked about, I believe it was either the 90 or 90, maybe it was the 92 game where they broke the 71-game win streak. I think there was 15 future NBA players on the rosters. Wow. 15. Does Arizona and UCLA have 15 NBA players on their rosters today?
Oh, no.
Does Arizona and UCLA combined have 10? Probably not. So that tells you the level of talent, the level of skill, the high level of play. And then what does that lead to? Respect and hatred. Right? It's this juxtaposition of, wow, they're good, but man, I hate those guys. And I still do. I still can't stand Trevor Wilson's wide stance at the free throw line, and he would squat down. I mean, when I see Don McClain across the court calling games, I still have this, thought in the back of my mind, what a jerk. He's not. I've talked to him. You've talked to him. Good guy.
Well, that's interesting you said that, but we'll end on this, because I was talking the other day. I said, for me, I didn't understand why they were booing Bronny James, because he's not an unlikable kid. I mean, you brought up the name Trevor Wilson, which I brought up earlier in the week. I was like, we hated that guy. We hated Trevor Wilson when we would face him. We hated Gary Payton because Gary would talk trash and then go score 30 points on you there.
He'd give it to you.
That's not Bronny. I get it. He's LeBron James' son, and maybe that's the reason, but he's not an unlikable kid.
Unfair, right? And I did tweet out this morning to that exact effect that I was disappointed in the Zona Zoo. I'm all for student section rah-rah and people. That's what makes McKale great, right, is they get after these characters and personalities, but it needs to be in the heart and the spirit of the game, and not just because who you're related to. And that young man, I've watched him, you've watched him, overcoming the medical situation. We should be applauding that kid. The way he handles his business as the son of one of the greatest players of all time, we should applaud him for the maturity and professionalism that young man plays with. And I watched him pregame interact with his teammates. I watched him postgame interact with our players. That's an upstanding young man. I have an 18-year-old son. I hope he acts like Bronny James in a situation where the lights are bright on my son, and I would be proud of him as a dad, and I know LeBron is.
Ryan, we appreciate you taking a few minutes out of your busy day, and have a great call today.
I could sit here and talk with you guys Arizona hoops forever.
Well, next time we're out here, you'll have an open seat to come back.
Thanks, boys.
All
have
right.
a good one.
It is Ryan Hansen. That is your view from courtside.
We hope you enjoyed your view from courtside. It was brought to you by Kaiser Garage Door and Gates. Kaiser, celebrating 25 years serving Southern Arizona. This is the Meridian Wealth Management Countdown to Tip-Off Show on the home of Arizona men's basketball. Wildcats Radio 1290.
As Arizona's leading personal injury law firm for more than 30 years, Goldberg & Osborne agrees, bear down Arizona. With offices statewide, including 5 in Tucson and Southern Arizona, the Eagle gives you home field advantage. More than 1,800 5-star Google reviews prove Goldberg & Osborne has the playbook for any situation. So after any accident. Let the attorneys voted best personal injury law firm tackle that insurance company and get you the settlement you deserve. Goldberg and Osborne, 1-800-THE-EAGLE.
Does it feel like the price of everything is going up, up, up? We can't control the price of gas or groceries, but at Royal Kia, we never add market adjustments, even while other dealers add fees because inventory is limited. At Royal Kia, you can rest assured you won't pay market adjustments, and we stand by our transparent online pricing. Royal Kia, the dealership that's different. OAC plus tax, title, license, dealer installed options, and $529 dock fee. Royal Kia, Speedway in Columbus or royalkia.com.
My heat and air work in a state of disrepair.
With the new year, we usually make resolutions to be healthier. Water quality in your home can help you achieve healthy living goals. I'm Ron Arenas with Picturox Cooling, Heating, and Plumbing. We offer solutions to filter the water in your house that you drink, shower, and cook with every day. For clean and healthy water, call 520-440-4069.
Picturox Cooling, Heating, and Plumbing.
Hi, this is Natalie Fernandez of Meridian Wealth Management, and I'd like to invite you to our complimentary retirement income workshop held every Friday at 10 a.m. in our offices at the Williams Center. We discuss the key risks in retirement, how retirement has changed, and how to best plan for success. A recent study showed 60% of retirees would go back and plan differently if they could. We want to help you avoid the would've, could've, should've. Call our office at 719-1433 to reserve your seat today.
Advisory services provided by Meridian Wealth Management, a registered investment advisor.
Southern Arizona Radiology Associates have been dedicated to providing superior images and quality care for the last 35 years. They're the one you trust when you need an X-ray, CT scan, ultrasound, mammogram, or MRI. They have locations in Tucson, Green Valley, and Sierra Vista. Ask your doctor to refer you to Southern Arizona Radiology Associates today. That's Southern Arizona Radiology Associates. Visit their website at sararadiology.com or call 520-335-6849 for more information.
The Window Depot is proud to sponsor the first look at today's game and would like to invite Arizona Wildcat fans to visit one of their Tucson warehouses. The Window Depot provides over 1,000 in-stock vinyl windows, interior and exterior doors, plus granite and quartz countertops, and a huge selection of custom cabinetry, all at the lowest prices in town. Consider the Window Depot your MVP when it comes to your home improvement needs. Stores are open Monday through Saturday, or order online at thewindowdepot.com. The Window Depot, more than a window store.
Hey, Eugene, what's with the giant pile of scratcher tickets?
With these scratchers, I'll win enough dough to enroll in the UberTube car repair classes and finally know how to fix your car right.
Well, then keep on scratching, Eugene.
Good luck on that, guys. But if you need a sure thing in automotive repair or for your next set of tires, check out Jack Furrier Tire and Auto Care. And this month, pay with your Jack Furrier Tire and Auto Care card and get $66 back.
And check out our full page of promotions and discounts at jackfurriers.com.
Jack Furrier Tire and Auto Care since 1960, here to get you there.
Tired of dry, itchy skin? Have mineral buildup at every faucet. Ram Plumbing's affordable, green, eco-friendly water softener and alkalized purification systems are built right here in our great state of Arizona and use a fraction of the wastewater as their competitors. Want soft water, non-chlorinated, or the best alkalized drinking water? You can trust Ram Plumbing to be your one-stop shop. Ask about their Water Taste Challenge. 40th year anniversary savings, up to $500 off water systems and $40 off any service. If your plumbing's in trouble, call Ram on the double.
This is the Meridian Wealth Management Countdown to Tipoff Show on the home of Arizona men's basketball. Wildcats Radio 1290.
And welcome back out here to the Hall of Champions on the campus of the University of Arizona, McKale Center, right outside the Eddie Lynch Athletics Pavilion on this now becoming very sunny Saturday morning for a few more minutes as we get you set for this 2 o'clock tip-off here between the Arizona Wildcats and the UCLA Bruins. Let's check out what else is happening today in college basketball.
The Pac-12 scoreboard is brought to you by Mesquite Valley Growers. Mesquite Valley Growers. Real growers, real experience, real nursery.
All right, the Pac-12. Why don't we back up and let folks know what happened in the games on, we played obviously Wednesday night, did the Arizona Wildcats, and there were a number of games on Thursday around the conference. Utah went to 4-3 with a win over Oregon State, 74-47. Washington gets a win on the road at California by 2 points on a buzzer beater by Moses Wood, 77-75. So Washington now 3-4. Cal falls to 2-5. And Washington State wins on the road as well at Stanford, so they cool off the Cardinal, who had been playing well. How about this ball game? Miles Rice coming off his performances and his Pac-12 Freshman of the Week, his performances against USC and Washington and Arizona. The Washington State guard put 35 points up on the Stanford Cardinal to go along with 8 assists and 4 steals in an 89-75 win for the Cougars down in Palo Alto. Both those teams are now 4-3 on the season. The big game involved the first place team, the Oregon Ducks. They lose by 16 points at Colorado. Colorado now 4-0 at home, 0-3 on the road, and they win that one 86-70. An outstanding performance in that ball game by Cody Williams, who scored 23 points for the Colorado Buffaloes. So today's schedule goes like this. The first game of the day will be up in Tempe, and that will get underway here in about 10 minutes. The Trojans and the Sun Devils will play. Arizona State has lost 2 in a row since their 4-0 start, so they'll be looking to get off the schneid and get back on the winning track. They could find themselves in a tie for first place today if a number of things happen. Arizona would like to win as well. They're currently even with the Sun Devils at 4-2. A win would put Arizona, the Wildcats, with 5 wins in conference play. And we could have a first-place tie, but not today because the Oregon Ducks do not play. There is action tomorrow, and that is the one game on the docket tomorrow. Oregon will play at Utah. So an Oregon loss on Sunday, and it wins by Arizona State and Arizona today would create a first-place tie in the conference, with all 3 of those teams being 5-2. The other 3 games of the day in the Pac-12, Washington State will be at California. That's a 3 o'clock tip. 5 o'clock tip, Oregon State at Colorado. Buffaloes, again, will be looking for a 5th straight home conference win. The Beavers are just 1-5 in the Pac-12 on the season. The final game of the day will be out in Palo Alto as the Cardinal will welcome in the Washington Huskies. That's an initial check of your scoreboard for today.
That's been the Pac-12 Scoreboard, brought to you by Mesquite Valley Growers. Mesquite Valley Growers. Real growers, real experience, real nursery.
Kelvin, Colorado playing well at home, and Tristan De Silva back in their lineup. That is a much-needed piece that was not here when we faced them. And again, we've talked about it, how, I mean, that's still a few weeks down the road, but that's going to be an interesting trip. Going to be an interesting trip for all the teams, just because those 2 teams are at the top of the conference. That's going to be one of the more difficult road trips for any team in the conference this year.
Yeah, man, having to go to those mountain schools, Colorado and Utah, is going to be very difficult. Utah with the size. I think Williams is back as well.
Yeah, Cody's back.
Yeah,
Cody Williams is back.
I seen him make a play the other day. You know, that's scary, and he didn't get to play this time, so I think they're putting all their eggs in the basket so when we come out there to try to knock us out, man. So that's why it's so important to win these home games, man, and because if you get a split out of that trip, right now with both of those guys being at the top of the conference, you've done some great things. And if you can get a sweep, now you put yourself back up there at the top of the conference. So, yeah, that's a little down the road, man. But to me, that has always been the scariest road trip, looking ahead of this year.
Yeah, De Silva's been killing the Cats. But, guys, I've been seeing Cody Williams at the top of NBA mock draft boards these days. So, yeah, he's back too.
We've been talking a lot about the future, and that's the Big 12. Big game going on in that conference today. Number 9 Baylor on the road at Texas. That game is trending into the late second half, and it is tied 66-66. There's only one game, I believe.
Wait a minute, DK. Let me catch you right here.
Okay.
They better not do the horns down.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
They better not do the horns down. I didn't mean to do that.
Florida did that the other night?
They better not do it.
Yeah,
Coach Terry
going to
be
go
on.
over well with Rodney Terry.
I'm sorry about that. Go ahead.
No, I'm glad you brought that up because that did not go over very well. There was a shout down in the handshake line.
Yeah, I didn't think that was cool to coach, though. I didn't think that was right. I mean, you know, if you want to really control someone's, you know what they're doing, win the game. You know, you kind of got to close your eyes to it as a part of being in sports, especially for him. You know, you make millions, man. Chill out. You know, get the dub. You know, but I understand him being a little frustrated, but at the same time, man, I mean that's been going on for years. People, the different teams disrespect teams and whatnot. So I didn't think it was that crazy.
There's one game in the Big 12 that involves ranked teams today. Number 24 Iowa State at number 19. TCU, only one other game that is involving two other games that are involving ranked teams. One of those is also in the Big 12 today, number 20 BYU at number 25 Texas Tech. The other game involving ranked teams is number 22 Ole Miss at number 13 Auburn in the SEC. And the other thing in terms of the Big 12, Kevin, we were talking about the other day, was just how difficult that's going to be. You've got, I believe, the top 4 teams are 3-1 on the year, and you've essentially got about 8 teams that already have 2 losses.
Yeah, man. It's going to be tough. But the thing about that conference is, man, you're going to be getting in probably 12 people into the tournament. I mean, because you have all those ranked teams playing each other. So, I mean, this year 10, but I'm saying when they go to the 16-man, you know, when Arizona come over there, they might get 12 teams into the tournament, because when you have 8 ranked teams playing each other, all the points that you get, you know, built up and whatnot as far as, you know, getting into the NCAA tournament are right there, power points. I mean, right now we, you know, in the conference right now we have none. But imagine a conference like the Big 12, you know, what they're doing for their individual teams, helping them get ready to get into the tournament.
Yeah, good luck winning on the road.
It's going to be tough.
Good luck getting there. You got to get there first.
All right, it's the Meridian Wealth Management Countdown to Tip-Off Show. That hour number 2 is in the books. We've got one more hour to go. If you're heading down here to McKale Center, check out the backside. We're on the Hall of Champions patio here, the Eddie Lynch Athletics Pavilion right outside. We're just a few steps away from the Lute Olson statue. Stop on by and say hello before you head into the arena for this game today between UCLA and Arizona. I've got Calvin Efon and J.W. Madden. I'm David Kelly. You're listening to Wildcats Radio 1290.
This hour of the Meridian Wealth Management pregame show is brought to you by Blue Whale Car Wash, Caruso's Italian Restaurant, Cool Willie's Air and Plumbing, The Diamond Store, Goldberg and Osborne, Goodfellas AC, Humane Society of Southern Arizona, Lexus of Tucson, Nova Home Loans, Recon Auto Detail, Ride Now Power Sports Tucson, Tucson Police Department.
Saguaro Harley-Davidson wants your bike. Call or visit our website to schedule an appointment or stop by today to receive an inspection and an offer. Whether you're looking to trade in or trade up or just looking for some extra money, we are prepared to make you a tempting offer. Don't deal with the hassle of selling it to a stranger. We're here to make the process quick and easy. Only at Saguaro Harley-Davidson or online at saguaroharley.com. That's saguaroharley.com. Some restrictions may apply. See dealer for details.
Think of waking up with energy, standing tall and feeling free. Think First Chiropractic, good health is to enjoy.
First Chiropractic offers military discounts to retired and disabled veterans, and they now accept patients with excess insurance. For more information and to find the location nearest you, visit firstchiro.com, the most trusted name in chiropractic care.
First Chiropractic, good health is to enjoy.
Caruso's, a Tucson tradition since 1938, located on historic 4th Avenue. For 4 generations, Caruso's handmade sauce has been prepared with love by a family member, using only the best ingredients. Enjoy specialty Italian dishes like lasagna al forno, chicken tetrazzini, real Italian sausages, spectacular pizza, as well as many vegetarian options. Caruso's offers outdoor dining on their garden patio, with indoor dining also available. Open Tuesday through Sunday, with all your favorites available for takeout. For more information, call 520-624-5765 or visit their website at carusositalian.com.
Get the backyard you've always wanted with a custom pool from First Choice Pools. A backyard oasis built around you. First Choice is a full-service builder of beautiful in-ground pools and backyard designs for years of staycations. If you're ready to dive in, then visit TucsonPoolBuilder.com. Schedule now and get 3 months of full service free. First Choice Pools for installs, renovation, remodeling.
That's right.
Of custom cabinetry, all at the lowest prices in town.
Installed options and $529 dock fee. Royal Kia, Speedway in Columbus or royalkia.com.
Cool Willie's Air and Plumbing. Always trust the big guy. Mention your Wildcats and receive $50 off any repair at coolwillies.com. Cool Willie's is proud to be a partner of the University of Arizona Wildcats basketball radio broadcast. Two powerful teams working hard for you to get the job done right every day. Cool Willie's Air and Plumbing. Big enough to help, small enough to care. Remember to mention your Wildcats and receive $50 off any repair. coolwillies.com.
Experiencing the natural wonders comes easy at Rock & Kay. Nestled at the base of the Rincon Mountain foothills. Enjoy stunning mountain views up close every day. Hit the community trails, explore local parks like Saguaro National and Colossal Cave, and mingle at private Diamond Community Park events. In the top-rated Vail School District, Rock & Kay is close to work, shopping, and services. Tour 11 different model homes by top-tier builders, offering move-in ready homes and special incentives. Live rockandkay.com. Designed by Nature, proud U of A radio broadcast sponsor.
Hey, Eugene, what's with the giant pile of scratcher tickets?
Just my next greatest idea ever.
Playing the lottery?
That's right, Doug. With all my winnings, I could enroll in the UberTube car repair classes and finally fix your car right. No more disasters, Doug. Your luck is about to change.
Well, then keep on scratching, Eugene.
Good luck, Eugene. But if you need a sure thing in automotive repair or for your next set of tires, check out Jack Furrier Tire and Auto Care.
You know, we've guaranteed our tires in every auto repair since 1960.
With more than 35 Top Shop awards and our Partners Network 3-year nationwide warranty, you can count on Jack Furrier Tire and Auto Care.
And check out this month's special savings.
Pay with your Jack Furrier Tire and Auto Care card card and get $66 back. And check out the full page of promotions, discounts, and coupons at jackfurriers.com.
So call ahead, make an appointment online, or just stop by any of our 14 area locations.
Jack Furrier Tire and Auto Care, since 1960, here to get you there.
This is the Meridian Wealth Management Countdown and Tipoff Show on the home of Arizona men's basketball. Wildcats Radio 1290. Our 1290 scouting report is brought to you by Ram Plumbing. When your plumbing is in trouble, call Ram on the double.
It is the Wildcats and the UCLA Bruins at McKale Center. Let's find out a little bit about what went down the last time the Bruins were on the floor, and that was Wednesday night in Tempe. David Brandt from the Associated Press covered that game that got a little insane there at the end. And, well, let's first of all talk about the early stages of that game, David, and what to kind of put the Bruins in that early 15-point hole that they had to climb out of.
Well, watching UCLA all year, they just struggled to put the ball in the basket. I think, they've shot 29% from three-point range, and they were just struggling to make shots early. And Arizona State was doing a nice job of making it hard for them defensively. Adam Miller played really well early. Frankie Collins, as he usually does, played pretty well too. And I think that's the thing with this UCLA team right now. You can see the talent with some of those guys, Aiden Bona, Stefanovic, Sebastian Mack, Brandon Williams, one of the youngest freshmen in the country. They have some guys that you can see them being good in a year or two, but right now offensively, they just really struggle sometimes to put the ball in the basket, and I think that's what happened, especially in the first half on Wednesday night.
And then obviously the second half, a much different story. They kind of started chopping away. Brandon Williams was able to hit a bucket to kind of give them a lead. What kind of began to materialize there in the early part of that second half?
Well, I think you're right. They hit a couple shots. Brandon Williams got it going. And then, honestly, I know we'll kind of get into this, but Arizona State just kind of imploded a little bit. UCLA was trailing by 15, and they were starting to hit a few shots. I mean, they were playing a little better. But I'm sure you read that story. There was a 7-point swing where Arizona State got 2 technicals on one possession, and the guy got fouled. And so Stefanovic hit 4 free throws in a row, and then they hit a 3-pointer on the ensuing possession. I think that was Brandon Williams. And so, when you start having 7-point possessions, that can change the game really quick. And that's what happened. I mean, Arizona State had a pretty comfortable, 12-point lead, somewhere in that range, and then suddenly it was 4, and then, UCLA starts feeling itself. Again, these are talented players on that team, if not young, and so they got that momentum, and Arizona State just could never quite. Frankie Collins hit a big 3. There were some moments where it looked like Arizona State was going to get it under control, but they just they lost their mojo, lost their cool a little bit, and that's what happens in a big conference game.
You mentioned it as an implosion. Did that surprise you for Arizona State? Because they've actually been a really good second-half team this year. I mean, they've generally been the team that has been able to rally from behind and close. Did it surprise you that they kind of came apart?
It did. I mean, I understand it. When you give up 4 technical fouls, that's 8 free throws right there, just totally free. And I think that was part of it. But, and the thing I was more surprised about was I understand why Bobby Hurley was upset. I thought some of those technical fouls were borderline. I thought it was a little bit of a quick trigger by the refereeing crew that night. But at the same time, if you're Bobby Hurley, you've got to have control over your roster. You've got to say to these guys, I mean, there's too many coaches. You can't get 4 technicals in one half in a conference game against UCLA when you're winning by 15 and have the game in control. You just can't. And again, I think the referees had a little bit of a quick trigger. I understand why Bobby Hurley was a little irritated. But I thought that was a mistake going forward, and maybe he did this in practice or something like that. I'm not there, but you've got to take ownership of your behavior. And I think I was surprised that Arizona State, again, I'm not saying they were running around acting crazy or anything like that. I thought some of the technicals were borderline, but at some point you've got to take responsibility for your behavior. And so I think with a veteran coach, a veteran team, yes, that was surprising to see them kind of lose their cool in the way it happened.
Do you think? I guess there's a belief. Obviously, Bobby came out after the game and says and made the statement, "We're the bad guys." I mean, do you think there's a belief about Arizona State?
That's a good question. I kind of wondered that too. I don't think that comes across much with the team very much. I mean, if you've watched Bobby Hurley for any amount of time, you know he's very animated on the sidelines. He screams, he yells, he talks a lot to the officials. That's just his personality, and I think different coaches. So I think the referees come into the game knowing that Bobby is going to be a handful. He always is, and that's just part of his persona on the sideline. But I've never gotten the feeling that the team itself, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Was a problem. I've never seen players getting technicals again. And can some of that bleed over because some of the refs are already on edge because they're talking to Bobby all the time? Yeah, I guess that could be the case. But I was surprised. I don't really get the feel that Arizona State, especially the players actually on the floor, are viewed as the bad guys.
David Brand is joining us. He writes for the Associated Press up in the Phoenix area, getting you set for the Wildcats and the UCLA Bruins. Just kind of taking a look at this Bruin roster, and you mentioned obviously how young that they are. Who of those young guys, has really stood out to you, or at least stood out to you from what you saw the other night? Was it, a Dembana? Was it Brandon Williams? I mean, maybe who was that young guy that kind of really stood out to you?
Well, Bono was great. He had 7 blocks, and Brandon Williams, like we talked about, just turned 18, one of the youngest freshmen in the country. I think he has a bright future. But, the 2 guys that really stuck out to me were Sebastian Mack. He had a couple really big plays down the stretch. He had a big bucket, and then he had a steal in transition and got another bucket for 4 quick points that really won the game for UCLA because Arizona State was making a little bit of a late push. Frankie Collins hit a big 3-pointer. So I really liked the poise that he showed in the biggest moments of the game. And then Stefanovic is a very good shooter. And if you leave him open, he will make you pay. He had 18 points, very good at the free throw line, again, just kind of chipping away at what Arizona State does. So, after the game, Mick Cronin was talking about his roster and what they are missing. I think if they had they need a 5th-year, a 6th-year player, obviously because of COVID and all that stuff. Your guy like a Caleb Love, somebody like that who can consistently go out there and get you 16, 18 points. That's your scorer, a 22, 23-year-old kind of grown man. And UCLA just doesn't really have that right now. But they do have talent. I think, Bonham is great defensively. They've got some guys who can occasionally make shots. It's just, I think a lot of it is a confidence level with this team and just growing up some.
I'm curious, did you get a chance to see U of A when they played up there against Alabama?
I did not. I did cover that game. They played against Wisconsin in the non-conference schedule. I have covered them once, but I didn't do the Alabama game.
What were your takeaways on the Wildcats that day?
Well, that day they looked like they were going to go 35-0 and win every game for the rest of the season. They looked incredible. And I still think a lot of those things that they're so good at will carry over. And they've obviously had a little rougher stretch the last couple weeks in conference play, but I just really like their lineup. I like how experienced they are. I've liked Tel Larson for years. Keyshawn Johnson has played a lot of ball. So has Ballo. I mean, they just got so many guys. I think they're going to figure it out. So, that afternoon against Wisconsin, again, they look like world beaters. If you had told me they were going to lose like 2 games all season and go to the Final Four, I totally wouldn't believe that. But I do believe the Final Four and all that stuff is still in play. But they're taking their lumps a little bit right now. But I think this is a team that definitely can play in the final weekends of the season.
David Brandt from the Associated Press is our guest, talking some college basketball with him. But he covers all of the sports up in the Valley, from the Cardinals to the Suns. To the Diamondbacks. I guess we could say we're officially now in evaluation mode of the Phoenix Suns now that everybody's healthy and everybody's playing. So where do you stand in maybe these first 2 weeks that the Big Three has been healthy and playing with each other about what the potential could be for that lineup?
Well, they're in a better spot than they were a few weeks ago. You're right. There were some rough times, and obviously Bradley Beal's injuries, and then Devin Booker was kind of in and out of the lineup. So really the past 2 or 3 weeks, we've started to evaluate what they have. And certainly Durant, Beal, and Booker as a three-headed monster kind of scoring is tough. Grayson Allen's played really well the last several weeks. I'm still worried about this team's depth. And I think you compare them to the Clippers right now. You compare them to the Nuggets, who obviously won it all last year. There's not many guys off the bench that can give you that lift, that can scare you. I just think you're putting a lot on a 35-year-old Kevin Durant. You're putting a lot on Devin Booker to be a point guard when that's really not the thing that he does. I think this is a solid team, and I think obviously playing together will give them more oomph going into the postseason if they can stay healthy. But this roster to me is kind of fundamentally flawed a little bit. I'm not sure if they have the depth to really get to the conference finals or the NBA finals. But again, like you said, they've only played like 10 games with the big three together. So I'm reserving my judgment a little bit. But I don't know if this is going to be the year for the Suns.
And David, we're just a few weeks away from spring training. It's already here again, baseball. Just from the fan standpoint, what do you think is going to be the carryover effect for the Diamondbacks? Are people going to go into spring excited about what the potential of this team could be off a run to the World Series?
Oh, there's no doubt that there will be more excitement. But I'm kind of like you. I'm really interested to see, if this kind of gets the team back to that. 20 years ago, 2001, 02, 03, it wasn't that long ago that Arizona was one of the, top 10 teams in attendance. And so, now I think that once they started rolling a little later in the season, you saw the fans start to come back. So I'm not saying this is going to be Fenway Park or Wrigley Field anytime soon, but I do think Chase is going to be rocking a little bit. And I think as long as they can be competitive, stay above 500, I think you'll see some increased fan interest.
Dave, hey, we appreciate you taking a few minutes to join us. We look forward to maybe getting a chance to talk to you about the Valley Sports again in the near future.
Yeah, absolutely, guys. Anytime.
David Brandt from the Associated Press getting you set for the Wildcats and the Bruins.
That's today's 1290 Scouting Report, brought to you by Ram Plumbing. When your plumbing is in trouble, call Ram on the double.
Back out here on the mall, here at the Eddie Lynch Athletics Pavilion. The gates are open, and people are starting to head in for today's ball game between the Arizona Wildcats and the UCLA Bruins. We have got one more segment to go here for us. We'll have our keys to the game, starting lineups, and all of that straight ahead. UCLA and Arizona. 2 o'clock tip-off coverage on the network begins here at the top of the hour at 1 o'clock. Kelvin Efon is here. J-Dub is back in the studio. I'm David Kelly. You're listening to Wildcats Radio 1290.
This is the Meridian Wealth Management Countdown and Tip-Off Show on the home of Arizona men's basketball. Wildcats Radio 1290.
Hi, this is Natalie Fernandez-Lee, President of Meridian Wealth Management. As a fiduciary investment firm, our clients have trusted us to guide them down their financial paths for decades. Whether you are an individual or family, business, foundation, or nonprofit, we are committed to your long-term goals and financial futures. We are proud supporters of the Tucson community and all that makes our city so special. Visit online at meridianwealthllc.com to learn more about Meridian.
Advisory services provided by Meridian Wealth Management, a registered investment advisor.
Desperate buyers have created tremendous opportunity for sellers. If you've had the slightest thought of selling your home, it's time to call Sean Poston with the Poston Results Team at Keller Williams, Southern Arizona. Why choose the Poston Results Team? Past performance, more money in your pocket, over a 65% referral rate, an incredible Poston Results Team staff, and most important, communication, because you and your home matter. The Poston Results Team. When buying and selling really matter, go to TucsonHomeValues.com. That's TucsonHomeValues with an S.com.
Tired Tired of dry, itchy skin? Have mineral buildup at every faucet. Ram Plumbing's affordable, green, eco-friendly water softener and alkalized purification systems are built right here in our great state of Arizona and use a fraction of the wastewater as their competitors. Want soft water, non-chlorinated, or the best alkalized drinking water? You can trust Ram Plumbing to be your one-stop shop. Ask about their Water Taste Challenge. 40th year anniversary savings, up to $500 off water systems and $40 off any service. If your plumbing's in trouble, call Ram on the double.
Frog and Firkin, a standout among the bars and restaurants in the University area. Frog and Firkin does what very few pubs can, combine a festive atmosphere and great beer with a menu that could stand on its own in any restaurant setting. A sports enthusiast dream with over 30 TVs, 30 beers on tap, and over 100 import and domestic bottles. Daily drink and food specials, and the kitchen is serving until 10. A standout in the University area. Frog and Firkin. Eat local, support local. frogandfirkin.com.
Do you often worry you left the garage door open? With a LiftMaster garage door opener powered by MyQ, you'll never worry again. You can control, secure, and monitor your garage from your smartphone anytime from anywhere through the MyQ app. As an authorized LiftMaster dealer, we have smart openers designed for your needs, including belt drive motors for ultra-quiet operation, integrated camera for live video streaming, and battery backup that lets you in when the power is out.
Kaiser Garage Doors and Gates is your authorized local LiftMaster dealer. Visit KaiserDoor.com for more information.
True Wildcat fans know that when you're looking for the best place to watch all the big games on big screens, drinking cold beer and having the best food, all paths lead to Desert Diamond. Bet on your Wildcats and all your favorite teams 24/7 on our easy-to-use kiosks. Come chill on our comfy couches and build your best bet at Arizona's best bet, the Desert Diamond Sportsbook and Bar.
An enterprise of the Thana Autumn Nation.
Problem gambling? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Desert Diamond Casino is licensed in Arizona.
Coach Tommy Lloyd here. Right Way Heating, Cooling, and Plumbing is the ultimate team when it comes to your home's comfort.
Thinking about replacing your heating and air system? It's free furnace season at Right Way.
These are some of the slowest months of the year. We have equipment in stock and our crews are available.
And to spark business, we're including an 80% furnace absolutely free with the purchase of an air conditioning system.
And if that's not enough, we'll include a Wi-Fi thermostat, 10-year parts and labor warranty, plus we have zero interest financing available.
Call or text 520-200-2422 today or visit rightwayac.com.
Cantina nachos, strawberry watermelon margaritas, a few zombie kills, and all your favorite sports teams live. When your day calls for some winning, it's time for Dave & Buster's, where you can eat, drink, play, and watch all the sports you want. They've got massive HD TVs, hundreds of the hottest new games, a chef-crafted menu, and an incredible list of beers, wines, and cocktails. So remember, if your day calls for a little victory, a little triumph, a little win, it's probably calling for Dave & Buster's.
The Meridian Wealth Management Countdown to Tip-Off Show continues on the home of Arizona men's basketball, Wildcats Radio 1290.
And we're the bad guys. So say hello to the bad guys. You may never see a bad guy like us again, but that's who we were tonight. We were the bad guys. So I'm sure no one else said anything except us all night. Yep.
The bad guys, the bad boy Sun Devils. Are they the bad boys now of the Pac-12 conference? That'll remain to be seen.
That's what UCLA does to teams right there.
Yeah, huh? I guess so. The Sun Devils will be trying to rebound in their game today against Southern California, get back on the winning track after 2 straight losses and sitting at 4-2 in the Pac-12 conference. Welcome back to the Meridian Wealth Management Countdown and Tip-Off Show, coming to you live from the Jim Click Hall of Champions here on the backside of McKale Center outside the Eddie Lynch Athletics Pavilion. Doors to the building are open and the crowd is starting to file in for today's basketball game between the Wildcats and the UCLA Bruins. It's going to be one exciting afternoon for you here. And don't forget, Willie will talk about it with you after the contest tonight on the Meridian Wealth Management post-game show, probably likely from about 5 o'clock to 7. And then we've got NFL football for you. We'll have the second game of the day. It'll be the Green Bay Packers and the San Francisco 49ers. Will join that game in progress. You can hear it right here on Wildcats Radio 1290. We've been talking about the Wildcats the last couple of games not scoring around the rim. And again, Ryan Hansen, when he joined us, said they've been averaging about 20 shots made, layups and dunks. The last 2 games, it's been 11 and 11. Tommy Lloyd reiterating that this team has got to finish when they have the opportunity at the basket.
Just would like to see us finish better overall. I mean, I think we're taking some crazy attempts, and that's just something that's never been a part of Arizona basketball since I've been here. And we need better discipline and shot selection even on our layups. We need to get paid when we get the ball in there, and it's 2 games in a row where I feel like we've struggled a little bit.
Need to get paid, Kelvin, when you get the ball inside. I guess there's no easier way to say it than that. You cannot miss those easy opportunities. It's something we've seen in 2 games now. I have a feeling today, though, is a day that the Wildcats will get back to that 20 average that we've seen from them.
Yeah, I had a couple days to practice with that Wednesday game, so it gives you a couple of extra days to put some more work in. And I think just emphasizing and really getting on guys and forcing them to understand that, like, hey, we can't leave out of here without getting it. We need all that to put in the bank.
And think about it. It's like how hard is it to get an attempt at a layup against a sophisticated high-level college basketball defense, right? So you're basically letting the whole team down. You're letting the side down if you don't finish those shots off, because it's not easy to get those looks. You've done all this work to get it. Just finish the shot.
Well, since starting the season at 8-0, the Wildcats are 5-4 in the last 9 games, and Keyshawn Johnson this week asked if this team is different now than it was when they started the year 8-0.
I don't think nothing's different. I just feel like we still trying to sharpen our tools and just work on our habits. We've been trying to make that an emphasis. Just taking out bad habits and putting in new habits. So I wouldn't say we really changed much since we started, but we're getting better.
Keyshawn Johnson letting you know that, this is they understand the assignment. The guys understand what has to happen here today in order for them to get back involved in this contesting and really to have a chance to begin to find themselves and who they were when they were playing well this season. We have a special guest here. We're about to welcome to the program for a quick hot minute here before we break things down and get off the air today. And he's come a long way to see his Arizona Wildcats play basketball, and he had a chance to see them play the other night in the win against the USC Trojans. It is the one and only Howie. Welcome to the show.
Yes, sir. Hey, how you doing, Dave?
Good, brother. How are you?
Hey, it's tremendous to be down here. It's great.
Well, I'm telling you, it's good to finally getting a chance to meet you.
Yes,
We talk to you on the show all the time. You're dressed for the weather here. You got your short sleeve shirt and your shorts on. You're having fun in this 65-degree weather down here, aren't you?
I got out just in time between 2 snow and sleet storms. But, to everybody out there, these guys are great. I've talked to them for years. They are the best.
Yeah, absolutely.
You guys are.
I knew exactly who he was when he came up and gave me a hug.
You did? You saw? You gave me
Yeah. Look, I was like,
I told you.
Said he was coming here, man.
I'm coming.
That's crazy after all these years, man. It's great to see you.
I'm like Coach Prime. I'm coming.
Yes, sir.
What are you most looking forward to for this game against UCLA today, Howie?
90-44 score, Arizona.
90-44. Well, that won't cover the over/under, but that'll cover the spread. So Howie's laying that 17 points and taking the Wildcats today.
UCLA's a funny team. Sometimes they show up, and sometimes they look awful. So we'll see who comes to the court today.
Yeah, I was going to say Cronin, he just has this thing about him, how he's able to get these guys up for big games. So I'm excited to see what type of game plan that he brings in to try to slow down the Cats.
Yeah.
Well, let's dive in. Let's dive into our keys to the game, and we'll get Howie's keys to the game as well.
Wildcats fans, our keys to the game are brought to you by the Royal Automotive Group. Royal Automotive, the dealership that is different.
All right, Howie, since you're the special guest, you said 90-40. What's the key? What's your main key? What do the Wildcats have to do to win today?
Defense and making shots around the basket.
Okay.
You know?
That's not a bad way to go. I like those keys right there. Defense and making shots around the basket. How about you, Calvin?
I think the most important thing is to start fast, to get these guys behind, to take them out of their zone defense, to force them where they have to pick up their pace and they can't play so slow. I think we're gonna have to play strong, play through the physical contact. Don't look for fouls. You got to score those baskets, and again, attack that zone. They're gonna play some zone, and we've had difficulty against zone. So I say attack that zone with the pass or the penetration. Really look for Pella or even KJ Lewis at the high post. I think both of those guys are great passers. They can score. They can get to the basket with one dribble from that spot. So we'd love to see those two guys at that high post.
Yeah. How about you, J-Dub? We got your boy Howie here.
What's up, Howie? Yeah, I think number one, you got to match the physicality. We know how Cronin's going to do. He's going to bring in, and that's basically the only way UCLA can win this game. So you got to match the physicality from the start. We're all going to have finishing at the rim. This huge, important detail in today's game, especially when I'm thinking low-scoring game. So you got to finish those bunnies around the rim. And number three, UCLA is not a great rebounding team. So in this building, I just think the Cats got to dominate the boards, match the physicality, dominate the boards, finish around the rim, all paint keys today for me to beat the Bruins.
I agree. I absolutely agree. And when you talk about being physical, and I'll go back to the one I said the other day, is I want to see Umar be a little bit more physical down there on the bump. And you like Kelvin always says, you got 5 fouls. Use them when you need to use them. Don't ticky tack them, but use them the right way to send a message to the opponent. So I'd like to maybe see Umar maybe get deep to that third, maybe fourth foul late, and use it to try to defensively assert himself down there to stop some offense. And I think also in terms of the offensive side of the ball for Arizona, like Rhino said, I'll go with that. You got to set your feet. Set your feet when you're down there inside the 3-foot circle and finish shots. It's going to be so important for this Wildcat team to finish shots moving forward, and especially in this game in order to beat UCLA, but also as they move forward with this season if they want to get to where they want to be. And I'd like to also maybe see this team get back to what we saw the last home weekend against Oregon and Colorado, knock down 3-point shots. I think if you knock down 3-point shots today, you can make it a lot more easy for yourself. And transition is always the number one. Get out and get as many easy baskets as you can so you don't have to even deal with that zone defense.
Yeah, I remember that scene from Glory Road when David Lattin, I think Shed was guarding him and was playing light. And Lattin just let him have it.
Right.
Remember that scene?
Yeah, oh yeah.
That was a great scene.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
Remind him that ain't gonna work.
No, that ain't gonna happen. That's my grand.
Wildcats fans, that's our keys to the game. Brought to you by the Royal Automotive Group. Royal Automotive, the dealership that is different.
And we're joined by Howie, who's now. So how long are you in town for, Howie? When do you head back?
I'm leaving tomorrow.
You're leaving tomorrow. So 2 games in and out. Have you had a chance to get some good eats while you're here?
Yeah. There was 2 reasons to come: to see the Cats and spend some time with my grandson.
Okay. What's your grandson's name over here? Trey. All right. So does that mean you're Howie the Third? Oh no.
I wish.
Okay.
He's a gigantic Arizona fan.
Okay. All right, outstanding. Well, we welcome Trey. We appreciate you bringing your grandfather by. He's a good friend of the show, and it's great to finally get a chance to meet him. What do you have a memory, Howie, of this rivalry? Is there a game that sticks out to you, Arizona and UCLA? Anything that
they've always been close?
Yeah.
My great memories of Arizona rivalries are with UNLV, actually. Kenny Lofton and Greg Anthony and those guys. Those were battles.
Talk the shark.
Yeah.
Biting on that towel.
Well, yeah, you mentioned Kenny Lofton. He's going to be going into the Ring of Honor. An awesome honor for him coming up later in the season. We're going to be honoring Ben Matherin here today. He is going into the Ring of Honor, so he'll be on hand for that ceremony at halftime. So definitely be in your seat at halftime to get a chance to thank Benedict Matherin for everything he did the 2 years that he was in this program as well. Well, Howie, we appreciate you stopping by.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
I love you guys.
Enjoy the game today. And be by the phone so we can talk to you after the game.
Yeah, for sure. Got to be by the phone.
The great Howie from Oregon joining us here. He is an awesome, awesome guy to talk to. All right, let's give you your starting lineups on today's game.
The foundation of a great college basketball team begins with the starting lineup. Today's starting lineup is brought to you by Rockin' K, a master plan community designed by nature.
All right, at one guard is going to be Kylan Boswell, 6'2", 200-pound sophomore out of Champaign, Illinois, averaging 12 points, shooting 55% from three at home this year. Caleb Love at the other guard, 6'4", senior out of St. Louis, Missouri. He leads the Wildcats in scoring at 18 points. He is 5th in the conference in that respect. Pelle Larsson makes the third guard in the lineup, 6'5", senior swingman out of Sweden. He has scored in double figures in 14 of the Wildcats' 17 ball games this season. Keyshawn Johnson at one forward, 6'7", at the only forward actually, 6'7", senior out of Oakland, California. He is averaging a career-best 12 points and 7 rebounds this season. And the man in the middle, Umar Ballo, 7-foot redshirt senior out of Mali, averaging 12 points, 12 rebounds in the last 8 games for the Wildcats. So Umar averaging that double-double this year. Jaden Bradley, KJ Lewis, Matias Krivas, Philip Bordovicic, and Paulius Morauskas, the main 5 that come off the bench for Arizona. 3 freshmen, 3 true freshmen, and 2 true sophomores. So pretty young team on the backside for Mr. Tommy Lloyd, who enters today's ball game. Tommy Lloyd, having never lost 2 games in a row, and with a record of 74-15 in this his 3rd season. He is 41-2 in games here at McKale Center since taking over the Wildcats. 9-0 this season. Guys, quickly, final thoughts.
Man, I'm just excited to see a good game versus these guys, physical, and our guys just to get over the hump. That's it.
Bring your hard hats.
Bring your hard hats. And I see some blue and gold here trickling in. Oh man, those colors. Just can't get with those colors right there. That's going to wrap up our coverage. Don't forget, we'll be with you after the ball game tonight. I'd like to thank everybody that was a part of this show. Thanks to Ryan Hansen for stopping by. David Brandt, a great guest. Howie joining us. Our fabulous crew out here. We've got Jackie. We've got Riley. We've got Raul. Bobby's here as well. Most of all, thanks to you for listening. Again, it is number 12 Arizona and UCLA for the final time as Pac-12 mates here at McKale Center. Enjoy the game. Bear down, Arizona.
All right, we're clear.
This hour of the Meridian Wealth Management pregame show is brought to you by Broadway in Tucson, Dave & Buster's Tucson, Dorado Rock, First Choice Pools, The Good Feet Store, Jack Furrier Tire and Auto Care, O'Reilly Chevrolet, Ram Plumbing, Restaurant Supply Store, Right